Physio Extra's Holistic Care. physioextra.com.
A former Labor MP once accused of blackmailing the Premier is now suing him. Annabelle Digance alleges Peter Malinauskas misused his power and authority and orchestrated a disgraceful conspiracy to destroy her political career. The Premier alleges Ms Digance misused confidential information from her dropped criminal case to pursue him for civil damages. The claims will be heard in court tomorrow. Applications open today for eligible businesses impacted by the toxic algal bloom. Small businesses can apply for up to $10,000 grants if they can demonstrate a 30% decline in business turnover, while hardest hit commercial fisheries and aquaculture licence holders can apply for up to $100,000 in support. The state government has committed to processing applications within 15 business days. The US President has put added pressure on his Russian counterpart to end the war with Ukraine during meetings with the UK Prime Minister. Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair has more.
Donald Trump says he's very disappointed in Vladimir Putin and will be reducing the 50-day deadline to 10 to 12 days for Russia to agree to a ceasefire deal in Ukraine. Otherwise, he may impose sanctions and secondary tariffs. The comments were made as he met with the UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer at his Turnberry golf course in Scotland to discuss their recent trade deal as well as a number of other issues, including the war in Gaza. Starmer and Trump agreeing aid needs to get into Gaza and a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas must be reached. Starmer describing the images of starvation as intolerable, as Trump admitted he too believes the images after Israel's Prime Minister claimed there was no starvation in Gaza. Trump will also be meeting the Scottish First Minister while he's here. Trump and Starmer have now travelled north to Aberdeen to another one of Donald Trump's golf courses where a new 18-hole course will be opened in the coming hours.
At least 2 people are dead after a casino shooting in the US. It happened at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno, Nevada. The suspect is now in custody. People who've recovered from cancer can now give blood. Gabrielle Hodson says Australian Red Cross Lifeblood has announced the changes.
Donors can start rolling up their sleeves a year after treatment, but will have to undergo health checks and have confirmation from medical experts they're in remission. On the flip side, cancer patients are Australia's biggest users of donated blood, representing about a third of supplies. The Red Cross says the change comes after research had shown it was safe for former patients, although people who've had blood cancer remain ineligible.
And John Farnham's music is headed to the stage. A Broadway-style musical about his comeback in the 80s is set to open in 2026 in Melbourne to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Whispering Jack. Now turning to 5AA's sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And to you as well, Mel. Just give me a reason to play a bit of Johnny Farnham. Adelaide has been dealt a blow with defender Max Michelani, set to miss the rest of the minor round with a hamstring injury. He could miss up to 6 weeks, but it is hoped he'll be available for the club's finals campaign. Meantime, much has been made of the club's younger players as they jump up to second spot on the ladder. Defender Nick Murray telling Rowie and Timmy G he's been impressed with several of the younger players.
You know, the maturity of Saligo and those types, and I think all the guys you just mentioned are, you know, under that 24 years of age. So, it's obviously very impressive, and I think it just shows we're out as a team. We're starting to really mature, and, hopefully some exciting times coming up.
Yeah, let's hope for that indeed. The AFL Appeals Board, meantime, has thrown out Stephen May's bid to overturn a 3-game ban for rough conduct. It means the Melbourne defender will miss the remaining 2 matches of his 3-game suspension. Well, 5-time Olympic champion Kaylee McEwen says her approach to expectations at the World Swimming Championships in Singapore has changed. She's qualified for the 100-metre backstroke final, but says she's not going to let the result dictate her emotions after an exhausting Olympic cycle.
Paris, I really got consumed by the pressure and the nerves, especially the ones that I put on myself. So I've really just taken a step back and I'm just trying to enjoy swimming again. I love the sport and I don't want to ever lose that.
Audio there thanks to Nine. Australia's sitting second in the tally board at the World Aquatic Championships, which covers swimming as well as other sports like diving and water polo. So far, the Aussies are taking home 10 medals from Singapore, including 6 gold. China are the leaders with 16 medals, including 10 gold. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Camper Agent RV Supercentre for caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and big savings at Parafield Gardens.
A shower or two for you Tuesday with a top of 13. A shower or two tomorrow, 13. Thursday, a possible shower, 14 and 15 on Friday. Right now, it's 12 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Kids don't want to wait. The sooner, the better. Every moment is a chance to learn and grow. And they're right, it is. The first few years of a child's development play a hugely important part in their future, in learning and in life. That's why the state government is rolling out 3-year-old preschool from 2026. Because the sooner they start, the further they can go. Learn more at flyingstart.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
An ant can lift a staggering 50 times its own body weight, requiring a mere 24 million comrades to bring the queen ant a queen-sized mattress in a box from Aldi for $259 with a memory foam comfort layer and Euro top design. It's special you can buy at the Refresh Your Bed sale this Wednesday. Aldi, good different.
There's something special about starting your journey in a Mercedes-Benz SUV. Save from $10,000 on select GLE models and from $15,000 on select GLS models with complimentary delivery fee across the SUV range. With spacious interiors, advanced driving technology and unmistakable presence, Mercedes-Benz SUVs are built for every kind of journey. Start your SUV journey at Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Unley. Terms and conditions apply.
Save up to $4,000 per suite on luxurious Kimberley expeditions with Silver Sea and Phil Hoffman Travel. Cruise for 10 days in all-inclusive luxury aboard Silver Sea's Silver Cloud. Sailing from Broom's stunning beaches to Darwin's tropical shores, the awe-inspiring horizontal falls and the untouched beauty of Ashmore Reef. Cruise departs 24th of July 2026. Book now to enjoy up to $300 exclusive onboard credit with the Platinum Cruise Club. Visit pht.com.au.
Life's a journey. As you grow older, every step should bring you more of what you want. And at ECH, they understand that. As one of SA's largest retirement living and home care providers, ECH offers more in every sense. More help at home, more support with your health, or the perfect new home to downsize to. ECH won't tell you where you should be, but they'll always support you to get more out of life. Visit ech.asn.au or call ECH today.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8:06, good morning to you and welcome to 5AA Breakfast on this Tuesday, the 29th of July. That red gum that came down yesterday causing all sorts of issues in Mitchum, what's the state of it? How long did it take to clean up? We'll be checking with SA Power Networks shortly. Mercedes College, of course, couldn't accept students for much of the day except in a paired back form. So we'll be talking about that in the next few moments. Also, we're off to the US to chat with our 7 News US correspondent, Rob Scott. The US president has been in the UK. He's been in Scotland, of course. He's been meeting with Keir Starmer overnight as well. He made some comments with regard to Epstein Island that we're going to interrogate very, very shortly. Also, coming up on the program today, the cabinet visit to the algal bloom infected York Peninsula. Local member Fraser Ellis is going to join us on the show. We'll talk about how that was received. We've got a trial by jury coming up. We will be talking about all the goings-on in state politics, too, with the Treasurer of South Australia, Stephen Mulligan, who joins us for his regular spot after 8:30 today. And there is so much to talk about on that front. Developments on Whyalla, the EBA with the doctors. We can talk to him about the algal blip. Lots to get through. Stick around. Love you to be part of it. 8223 or text us on 0480 08 1395, the Police Home Care text line. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I reckon, have you ever had a mate who you love him with all your heart. You love him like a brother, but he's one of those blokes who's always just a bit short. I'm just a bit short at the moment. You couldn't spot me a lazy fiver, could you? You couldn't spot me a tenner. I'm good for it. Just tide me over till payday. one of my mates was notorious for a while. He's actually very well off now because he's a genius. But when he was at uni, he was infamous. I remember one night when we were working on the student newspaper and we went up to the Blue and White Cafe in North Adelaide, as we often did on a Sunday night, to get our potato fritter rolls and our gyros and whatever to keep us going through the night, Sunday night, when we were laying out the paper. And he did this massive order of food, and we're all standing there nervously thinking, Dave's ordered pretty much everything on the menu here. He's a keen eater. And then when the lovely Greek Aussie bloke behind the counter tallied it all up, Dave looked at us all and went, "Hands up, who hasn't got any money?" Oh, me. And we were just sort of groaned. But I mentioned this in the context of Stephen Mulligan at the moment. As treasurer, every time the phone rings, and it's the relevant minister from another department, he must just be going, "What is it now? What is it now?" Because in the last 2 weeks, he's had the Algal bloom, 28 million between the state and the feds. Then Bedford, out of the blue, that lands in his lap. So there's another 15 million. He's got all these pay disputes going on, one of which, mercifully, and I think in no small account, due to the breaking it that we did the other day, every time the phone rings, you must just be swallowing hard, thinking, "What is it now? Who am I bailing out today?"
It's the nature of being a treasurer, isn't it? Very rarely, I imagine, do they call up saying, that budget you gave us, turns out we don't need it all. You can have some back.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
We didn't spend all the money.
Let's head to the United States. Rob Scott for 7 News is on the line. Donald Trump has overnight made these comments about he and his association with Jeffrey Epstein.
I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Rob Scott for 7 News, good morning to you. Is he helping or hurting himself, Donald Trump, by engaging in this Epstein stuff? And how's it being received in the United States at the moment?
Good morning. Well, it's kind of a weird statement. He never had the privilege of going to his island. I mean, it's probably a poor choice of words.
Yeah, to say the least.
I mean, it's an odd choice of word. He's over there in Scotland at the moment on a 5-day trip to check out his golf courses and also obviously to ink that trade deal with the EU. And he was sitting down with the British Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, when he was hammered with all these Epstein questions. So not even a trip across the Atlantic is enough to shake off the stench of the Epstein scandals following him around the world. And look, it is dominating news here in the US. It's on all the cable news shows. It's everywhere. And he, no matter what he does, trying to deflect, distract, and say, "Look at this shiny thing over here, and look at this trade deal I've just inked with the EU." Nothing is stopping the coverage of this whole handling of the Epstein affair. And he tries not to talk about it, but he can't help himself because he's getting hammered with these questions at every turn. So he drops that weird, I haven't had the privilege of going to the island, and then he gives an explanation of why his friendship ended with Epstein in the first place. We've heard in the past that he cut ties with him because he was a creep. But today, he says he cut ties with him because Epstein had started stealing some of his workforce, and he told him not to do it, and he continued doing it, and so they had this major falling out. So you're not sure, was he a creep? Did he steal your workers? What's the truth here, or is it all of the above? And then just to add another layer of conspiracy to everything, he said today, even though the Wall Street Journal has published this article about he was named in the Epstein files many, many times, he's continuing to deny that. And today he says, "Oh, look, the files were maintained by my political enemies under the Biden administration for many, many years. And, sure, if there was anything in there, they should have used them. They haven't." And now he's suggesting that perhaps, not in so many words, but the undercurrent is that perhaps my name appears in there because the Biden administration has put phony stuff in there. So it's just getting deeper and deeper every time he opens his mouth.
Well, that's it, Rob. Is it one of those statements, too, that just invites more questions? And I'm not saying that just from, us pedants in the media, but from his mega base who were saying, hang on a minute, didn't you run on a platform of total transparency about this?
Total transparency, yeah.
We need to know everything.
That's right. And
the form of words sort of Okay, so you didn't go to the island. What dealings did you have with him? Because there's plenty of photos of you with him, with your arm around him, looking like you're having the time of your life.
Well, he hasn't kept secret that he had this friendship with him over many years, but he said lots of people in Palm Beach in Florida knew him. All the so-called elite were friendly with him. And, he had said that he's cut ties with him many, many years ago. But, the truth of that as to when it happened and why it happened, every time he speaks is another explanation. So it is adding to this whole where's the transparency you promised? And obviously a couple of weeks ago when his Department of Justice said, look, we're not going to release any more FC files because there's nothing more to release, that did not satisfy his base. They got him into power, these podcasters and influencers, by tapping into that, we're going to drain the swamp mentality. And now that he's there and he's not giving them what they want, they are arcing up and they're not happy. And so he sent his Department of Justice Deputy Secretary to go talk to to Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, in prison. And she gave him 2 days' worth of testimony. But for what end? Are we ever going to hear the end of that? And what's the reason for that? Because he's asked consistently whether he's going to pardon her. And he says, look, he's allowed to do it, but now's not the time to talk about it. It's inappropriate to talk about it. But that's not a no, is it? I mean, he might still pardon her. But what sort of message does that send? So this is swirling around. And obviously we know that Congress was sent home a day early last week for their summer holidays just to stop the furor from getting any worse. But, listening to the talkback shows today, that's all these congressmen and women are going to be hammered about by their constituents. No one's going to talk about the big beautiful bill. They just want to know what happened with Epstein.
It's the political equivalent of Frankenstein's monster. Thank you, Rob. Rob Scott for 7 News in the United States.
Mark in Barra Hill says, I wish we had the privilege of not being able to hear or listen to Trump. Well, Mark, sorry, mate, you're living on the wrong planet. You've got another 3.5 years of this.
Need to engage a different timeline.
I think if you were going to run for office as a Republican or a Democrat, you could actually win over a lot of those middle Americans who don't vote at the next election with the slogan, Make America Quieter Again.
Well, maybe. Well, we will find out. It'll be interesting to see what type of candidates we do get when that date ultimately arrives. I'm looking forward to the potential John Farnham Broadway show. Have you heard about this? We've had it in 5AA News this morning. Of Whispering Jack. So that's next year.
Years.
They want a Broadway-style show that tells the story, the incredibly compelling story of John Farnham's musical comeback from Sadie the Cleaning Lady to Whispering Jack. It's a great story in Australian musical history. It would lend itself to the stage. They want it to be a Broadway musical. We want to ask you this morning, who else should be celebrated in Broadway musical style? Who should have a musical made about them? John Farnham's such a good, obvious one. Who else would be good fodder for a musical to be made about? 8223 You can text us on 0480 Are there any South Australians? I'm sure there's plenty of other Australians.
Well, you know what's funny? A mate of mine, he's always had this idea. He wants to write a musical called Forever Now, the Cold Chisel story.
Fantastic.
Wouldn't that people would queue up like from their roots? Barnsley in Elizabeth, the early days of the Largs Pier Hotel, like that would be a cracking story.
That's a great idea.
Doesn't it write itself the title? My mate Paulie said, how good would it be? Forever Now, the Cold Chisel story.
Yeah.
In Excess would be a good one too.
In Excess would be terrific.
They did that TV mini-series about them that was one of those classic made-for-television things. It was very watchable though. Like if you grew up with them.
Yeah, that was very enjoyable. I'm just trying to think, anyone outside the realm of music whose life would lend itself to a musical celebration. Let us know. 8223 We're going to take a break. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
Last month, we serviced around 11,000 vehicles, more than 1,500 Fords, 1,200 Holdens, 1,000 Subarus, 800 Isuzus, MGs, BMWs, Mercs, Audis. That's right, over 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters or book online. All centres offer repair now, pay later options. So switch and save with Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
Searching for the perfect private school? On July 31st, The Advertiser reveals Australia's top 100 private schools. Ranked on academics, facilities, subjects and more. The best schools in education? That's news to me. Only in The Advertiser.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Head to the Excelsior Hotel every Thursday and get $10 off steaks. The Excelsior Hotel, 110 Coghlan Street, Brompton. Feels like coming home, but better.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. The National Tiles famous annual winter spend and save is on now. Spend $4,000 will only charge you $2,750, or spend $2,000 will only charge you $1,450, or $1,000 will only charge you $750. Don't miss the National Tiles famous annual winter spend and save on now. So rush into a National Tiles store near you, or go online at nationaltiles.com.au now and save. Conditions apply.
How's a juicy little $50 cashback sound? Ooh. What about access to Westpac Rewards, the home of dazzling discounts and deals? Open a Westpac Choice transaction account, spend $50 using your mobile wallet within 15 days, and the cashback, discounts and deals are all yours. Search Westpac Choice for an account that's simply bursting with the good stuff. T's and C's, eligibility and fees apply. No transaction account in the last 2 years. Just make in-person contactless mobile payments totaling $50 to get that sweet, sweet cashback.
From your first call to after the funeral, the women of White Lady Funerals will be by your side. We are here to listen to you and to guide you. White Lady Funerals. Let our strength help you find yours.
Last month, around 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube. It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 after 6. It was about 8 o'clock yesterday when we said this big red gum that had fallen down in Mitchum was causing all sorts of issues. A lot of power outages. Mercedes College couldn't operate as per normal because the power was out there. And then the pictures came through. They were unbelievable. It was a huge job for SA Power Networks to get things back up and running. Cecilia Schultz joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Cecilia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will and Dave.
So just take us through the tidy up for this, because it sounds like in part it was your job, but you guys had to also wait for the SES to get this giant tree out the way.
Yeah, look, it was an incredible scene. I was down there at about 10 o'clock and a mammoth clean-up by a lot of people. So it actually happened at about 1:10 in the morning, I think. And this giant tree essentially fell straight across Fullerton Road, right in front of Mercedes College, and it took out the power lines that traverse the road, and in doing so it kind of pulled a couple of poles to the lean as well. So, within 45 minutes or so, we had our crews out there. We had, I think the SES came out. We had to sort of initially make sure that there were no live wires on the ground. But once we did that, we had SES there too. And, of course, within hours there was traffic control and tree contractors there tidying up the scene. But it was a full-day clean-up and a really big job.
Is there any word, Cecilia, on what actually made the tree come down? Because it didn't seem particularly windy the other night.
No, look, it wasn't particularly windy that night, but as you would probably recall, the nights that preceded, we've had some quite windy nights, particularly in the foothills over the few nights prior, and a lot of rain as well. And I think, I'm not a tree expert, but my understanding is when you've got a big tree like this, it sucks up a lot of water. It gets a lot heavier. The ground gets wet, and of course those winds over the nights prior probably weaken the stability, and then it's just maybe a matter of time. And an absolute blessing, I think, that despite it causing so much damage to our infrastructure, if it had fallen in a different direction or a different time of day, it could have been much worse than what it was. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got pictures of it up on the live stream now. It's amazing. Thanks for that, Cecilia. Cecilia Schutz there from SA Power Networks.
All right, let's take some calls. Plenty of people with nominations for Australians and others, South Australians, that deserve the treatment that John Farnham might be getting next year. His life celebrated in musical form. Luke in Queenstown, who should get a musical about them?
Bob Francis.
Oh, yes.
You know what it'd be called? Dick Brain the Musical.
Yeah.
How good would that be?
Something like that.
What a great title,
How
mate.
good would that be?
Dick Brain the Musical.
Thank you, Luke. I like that.
With an exclamation mark.
Oh, absolutely. Phil, he would have loved it, Bob himself. Phil in Henley Beach, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How about that mega star of stage and screen and the international icon, Dave Edwards?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Too
Too easy.
Brilliant. There's a few rude ones about Ken Inkley here from Crows fans who are still gloating about Saturday night.
Oh, do you reckon they're from Crows fans? I didn't think all of them were.
Actually, no, they may well be from Port supporters.
Michael and Ros Trevor, good morning.
Good morning. I thought Kylie would do a good job of being on the stage as a stage production.
Kylie?
Yeah, Kylie Minogue.
Oh, yeah. I was worried for a moment you said Kyle. Yeah, no, Kylie, for sure.
Kyle the musical is a terrifying thought.
That'll make the Bob Francis one sound tame.
It certainly would. Top of 13 today weather-wise, and up to 3 mils of rain forecast. There was a little smattering on the windscreen as we drove in this morning, but not too much to write home about. Tomorrow, top of 13, 2 mils. Thursday, the last day of July, 14 and a drizzle. Friday, the 1st of August, 15 and dry. Saturday, 15 and dry. Sunday, 16 and maybe a mil of rain. I guess the real headline in the weather is overnight lows of 5, 5 and 5 for Thursday, Friday and Saturday. It is a
lack of cloud at the moment.
Yeah, it's just...
We had a school soccer carnival down at Brighton last night. My God, I got home, I almost need to go and strap myself to the radiator for 5 hours to thaw out. It felt like Douglas Mawson.
I know people say, well, it's winter, it gets cold. That's no headline. But I think the thing that's been surprising so far this year is the number of days we've come in. And so the forecast top in Adelaide today, our maximum is lower than anywhere but Hobart. We've consistently been cooler than most other places. And I think our winters are typically more mild than that. Certainly Melbourne. But Melbourne's... today they're 13 as well.
As I said yesterday, we inadvertently went to Geelong on the weekend to warm up.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Mark in Larks Bay, good morning.
Yes, good morning, boys. A bit of emotional rescue for one of your long-time listeners there. We should call it Dave from Melbourne and the Power roller coaster.
That would be superb.
That's good. That is good. Dave from Melbourne. He deserves his own walk-on role.
Yeah, well, there's lots to talk about in the world of sport. Tom Wren is in the FIVEAA Breakfast studio with us. Agostino Mitsubishi's overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, unfortunately for the Crows, such a great performance. You know, a bit's been made of that. But Max Michelini's not going to play until finals. So he arrived at the club yesterday and he spoke about, you know, what happened when the incident occurred and when he knew his day was done, and unfortunately now he's out for the rest of the minor round. Let's have a listen to what he did have to say yesterday.
A bit of a popping sensation, which was a little bit weird, but no, thankfully it's feeling all right now.
You had that issue in the past?
I had a little issue when I was about 15, but nothing like that since.
So how long? 4 weeks, and then there's 2 weeks before the final start, isn't there?
4 to 6 weeks. So he'll be back for the first week of the finals, but he won't play any further part in the minor round. Josh Rochelle as well. Look, they're sort of medium-term injuries, aren't they? But he's an important player, Max Michelini. That audio, by the way, thanks to Nine. But you don't want them to rack up too many more. He's
such a good run.
They've had such a good run.
They've had an unbelievable run.
And I saw Darryl Wakelin on Friday, and we were talking just about, teams he played in. He had a 15-year career. Remember, he played in the grand final against the Crows in 97, 04, 07, played in those great teams in 01 to 03. He said there were probably 3 seasons where he genuinely thought the stars are aligning and, we've got the right run of injuries. He said that's where the Crows are. He said this is, for a player like Tex Walker, he said this is probably one of those 2 or 3 chances in his career. And it is, but you need the luck. There is that right run of injuries. So fingers crossed it's not too serious. Now, the other thing that was on last night was Josh Carr talking about the Power and their plight, and he was on with Rowie and Timmy G. The boys were really good with their interview. They put to him, should he take over now and see out the rest of the season?
No, there's been no conversation about it, no talk about it, and I don't think there's any merit in it. I think we've got 4 weeks left in the season. We want to finish strong. I think that's just throwing another spanner in the works with too many moving parts to what it looks like. Ken's been super committed, and I think we owe it to him to to be committed to him and finish off the season the right way.
Problem is they've had 3 90-plus point losses. Collingwood, Adelaide Bulldogs, a 76-point loss against Geelong. Remember last time they played them. Geelong playing for top 4, need percentage. Feels like that one on Sunday could be mighty, mighty ugly.
Hey, just quickly, Tom, to clarify, it is correct. There is going to be effectively a 2-week break before the finals start because of the make-up game between Essendon and Gold Coast, isn't there?
Well,
no, I thought that was just during the bye round, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's just during the bye round.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course.
So, yeah, it's going to be like the week before. So they'll still have an extra fortnight or an extra week before the final. So they'll have round 24 and then 2 weeks until the first final.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, look, I think Michael will do everything right. He'll play.
Yeah.
He'll be okay for that first. Rochelle, I'm less confident, but I think he'll be back for finals at some point.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Tom.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 13 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
There's been a fire at the Smiths factory at Regency Park. An alarm was triggered just after 1 this morning. Crews arrived to find a fire in a production oven and extraction system. They were able to contain the blaze and an aerial appliance was brought in to inspect the roof. The damage bill is not yet known. From today, South Australian tourism, fishing and aquaculture businesses impacted by the algal bloom can apply for government relief. Small businesses can seek up to $10,000 if they can demonstrate a 30% drop in turnover, while the hardest hit commercial fisheries and aquaculture licence holders can access up to $100,000 in support. A former Labor MP alleges Peter Malinauskas misused his power and authority as she files a $2.3 million lawsuit against the Premier. Annabelle Dargents is behind the case, who was once accused of blackmailing the state leader. The Premier alleges Ms Dargents misused confidential information from her dropped criminal case to pursue him for civil damages. A review has found Australian banks have kept at least 2 million customers who rely on Centrelink payments in high-fee accounts. The banks have been ordered to refund more than $93 million. ASIC Commissioner Alan Kirkland says banks are also being taught how to sign people up to the right account in the first place.
Banks are getting better at moving people to low-fee accounts, and they're also making it much easier for people who are obviously on low income to get put in a low-fee account to start with so they don't end up paying fees that they can't afford.
A report is highlighting the need for innovation within the country's intelligence services. The Australian Strategic Policy Institute warns Australia will be outpaced by international partners and adversaries. Report author Chris Taylor says change needs to be prioritised.
In a way, we're going to need to become underdogs. And as one of the interviewees described to me in my report, underdogs must scrap and adapt to survive.
Donald Trump has been talking about Jeffrey Epstein again, the US president raising eyebrows after saying he never had the privilege of going to his island.
By the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. And many other people that are very big people, nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
He may have just turned 85, but Ringo's star isn't slowing down. The former Beatle has announced he's working on a new album. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. We're going to start with some football. Melbourne has failed to overturn Stephen May's 3-game ban. That was for rough conduct. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
The Demons took their case to the AFL Appeals Board, challenging the decision to suspend Stephen May over a high hit on Carlton's Francis Evans in round 19. They argued the tribunal made an error of law, claiming no reasonable player could be expected to predict the bounce of the ball in that moment. Evans had taken possession a split second before May collided with him at full speed, making contact to the head while approaching from the opposite direction. May received a 3-game suspension, though he missed the round 20 loss to St Kilda due to concussion.
Cricket Australia will consider selling a minority stake in its 8 Big Bash clubs. Private investment in 2020 franchises has just reaped $2 billion for English cricket. Alex Perkins has added to Australia's medal tally from the World Swimming Championships in Singapore. She won bronze in the women's 100-metre butterfly. The Wallabies are determined to avoid a series whitewash against the British and Irish Lions. Second rower Nick Frost says the team is keen to finish on a high note at Stadium Australia, that on Saturday night.
Bit of fire in the belly from the last couple of games, playing in Sydney. For a lot of the boys, their hometown, you're paying for your nation. The Lions series, it's our last time, unless you're James Slivert, to play against them.
And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Camper Agent RV Supercentre for caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and big savings at Parafield Gardens.
Heading for a top of 13 today with a shower or two tomorrow 13, Thursday a possible shower 14 and 15 on Friday. Right now it's 11 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24/7 State Cabinet made a flying visit to the Yorke Peninsula yesterday and they came bearing cash. The increase was tenfold to the sort of money that businesses that are out because of the algal bloom can get access to. Originally $10,000 grants. They still exist for peripheral businesses, those like hardware stores that sell fishing equipment. But there's now $100,000 on offer for people directly affected. People like Steve Bowley, who runs an oyster farm. We'll be talking about that very, very shortly with the local member there, Fraser Ellis, to get a sense of how that visit was received and how that increase to the money that's accessible was received by those on the ground as well. I love this next story. Kevin Myers is from the Mid-Murray Maritime and Heritage Board. This is the fixer-upper to end all fixer-uppers. There has been a 15-year restoration of one of the magnificent paddle steamers that graces the Murray. It's a 118-year-old craft that by December this year will be back running cruises. Kevin Myers, good morning to you. This sounds like a labour of love for the local community.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
So give us a bit of a look at the process, Kevin. How long did the entire thing take?
Well, 15 years ago, we towed the boat from Robinvale in Victoria to Morgan, South Australia. All it was at that stage was a hull that every night on the trip it would sink to the bottom of the river, and first thing in the morning we'd have to pump it out before we started the day's travel. And then it's just been 15 years of slowly putting the old girl back together again.
So who owned it, Kevin? Why was it in a state of disrepair?
Well, it actually was on the bottom of the river over at a place called Boundary Bend, because the owners in the 1950s, the era of paddle steamers was over. It was, at that stage, it was a barge. It sank to the bottom of the river. They let it stay there. In 1994, a group of dedicated volunteers over that way decided they would dig it out the mud and start restoring it. But then the age of the people over there, sort of caught up with them. So they decided to give it away to somebody like-minded. And at that stage, I put my hand up for us over here. And, since then we sort of brought it over here and we've worked on it, solidly for 15 years.
How hard is it doing a restoration job like this, Kevin? I mean, I imagine it's not like fixing up like a 1967 HR or something where you can still find parts. Is it something where you actually have to show a bit of creativity in an engineering sense and make parts yourself?
There's a lot of that in it. Renovating the hull required a lot of red gum timber, which is very, very hard to find in, 6 metre length, but 3 inches thick, that doesn't have cracks in it.
Yeah, right.
And then the engine wise, well, that's another story on its own, because finding a steam engine, you just don't go to the shop and buy one off the shelf.
Yeah, that's right. How much of it, Kevin, have you been able to preserve as in the original parts? Because obviously you don't want to go to all this trouble to tow the remnants of the boat here and then replace every bit of it.
Well, as I said, it was a hull. We restored the hull back to its pretty well original state. We put the steam engines in, and then we had to build the superstructure, which is all the cabins, etc. We were lucky that an old fella down at Manham, who was an architect, sort of maritime architect, he actually looked at old photos of the boat and sort of came up with as close as what he could, a design for the cabins, etc. So she does look like she did, in the 1920s.
Wow. So
Great story.
It'll be running out of Manham this December, Kevin, if people want to catch a ride?
No, her home is in Morgan.
It'll be out of Morgan.
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right. Well,
what a great way to spend the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, imagine that. The picturesque River Murray summer.
Yeah, great
magnificent.
work.
Kevin Myers from the Mid-Murray Maritime and Heritage Board. Big part of the restoration of that paddle steamer, 118 years old. Rob in Clearview has called in with a nomination for someone who should be celebrated in musical form. Morning, Rob.
Morning, guys. Sir Keith Richards from the Rolling Stone. The movie's going to be based on, the stage show's going to be based on the Highlander, and every time, like Ozzy Osbourne or someone dies, he experiences the quickening, so he lives longer.
That is a great one, Rob. You could call it Keith Richards on ice, because I'm sure at some stage you did take ice.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that.
Took everything.
Let's head to Adelaide Oval because there's a race against time on there at the moment to make sure the ground is up to snuff for the big Friday night fixture with the Crows taking on Hawthorn. Of course, Saturday night showdown. It's just an incredible amount of rain. Tore it to shreds. The man charged with the task of getting it fit and firing is the best in the business. It's Damien Hoff, the Adelaide Oval curator. Damien, good morning to you.
Good morning, David. Will, how you going?
Yeah, we're well, mate. What's the state of the turf at the moment?
Oh, it's not too bad, guys. We're obviously 60 millimetres and 2 games on Saturday. Set it back a little bit, but there's a few little soft spots out there, but the grow lights are out. We fixed it up. Then we're planning for the Friday night game ahead. It should come together quite well.
What was going through your mind watching the game or the games on Saturday, Damien? Because as you say, they had the SANFL curtain raiser before. Because the Oval, the drainage, it's famous for how good its drainage is, but with the amount and length of rain on Saturday, did that push the upper limits of how quickly the water can clear?
Yeah, it did, David. It drains well. We had 40 millimetres on that Friday night at 11 o'clock. And you could have got a bar out there, and it was quite dry. So we were extremely happy with how it pulled up. But then the rain in that afternoon, 6 millimetres, I think it was about 10 millimetres during the game. It just sort of sits in that top layer. It takes a little while to get through that layer. So one part of me, being a Crow supporter, I was really enjoying the game. Second part of me, I was looking past the game at the turf and wasn't quite enjoying that side of it. So, by the time Sunday came, it had dried out in 90% of the surface. It sort of recovered reasonably well.
Well, good luck with the rest of the turnaround, Damien. I reckon if anyone can have it ship-shape by Friday, it's you, mate. It always looks $1 million.
Thanks, mate. We've got a great team, so focus on Friday night, getting it right. Got a little bit of a rest this week, and then we do a little bit of renovations on the weekend and get it right to the back end of the season. So, so far, so we need the rain, so we can't complain about that.
Yeah,
no, that's
well
right.
said. Good on you, Damien. Damien Hoff, the Adelaide Oval curator. Now, if you know someone who is aged over 70, well, they might just be the person we're looking for, because we're on the search for 7 sensational South Australians over 70 who continue to achieve, lead and inspire. If you know someone who fits the bill, could be a friend, a neighbour, maybe it's you. Nominate them now at 5AA.com.au and recognise their outstanding contribution. Proudly presented by 5AA and ECH. You want more retirement living and home care service choice from the one provider. You get more choice with ECH. Let's check traffic for the first time this morning thanks to Mannix Air Conditioning. It's the name you know and trust for range, unbeatable prices and advice. Nobody beats Maddox.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are looking really good today. Not too many hassles getting to work, which is excellent. Do have a large pothole getting fixed at Engle Farm. It's on Bridge Road near Montague Road. It's a bit bumpy through there this morning. You'll have works to look out for at Ridgehaven, North East Road near Dale Avenue. It speeds down to 40 at Hillier for works. Anglevar Road near Wingate Road. Early morning cameras today. Where are they? Here we go. Valletta Road, Kidman Park and May Terrace at Lockleys. Panadol helps relieve everyday pain. Not the pain of getting the kids off to school, but for the migraine headache it gives you. Panadol's got you covered. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Incorrect use could be harmful. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Are you over 50 and fed up with your bloated belly? Craving bowel regularity and immune system support? Say goodbye to gut discomfort with Caruso's Over 50s Probiotic. Caruso's Over 50s Probiotic supports bowel regularity and relieves bloating associated with medically diagnosed IBS. It also supports the immune system of people over 50. If you're fed up living with an unhappy gut, try Caruso's Over 50s Probiotic today. From leading pharmacies and health stores, always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Indulge in a breathtaking journey from India's Golden Triangle to the serene beauty of Seychelles with Imagine Cruising and Phil Hoffman Travel. Begin with a week in 5-star luxury in India, followed by a 16-night all-inclusive cruise with Azamara from Singapore to the Seychelles. Relax on pristine beaches, snorkelling crystal clear waters and rejuvenate in tropical paradise. 30-night packages include flights from Adelaide from $10,999 per person. Visit pht.com.au.
There's an old saying that life's a journey. As you get older, you might slow down a little. However, the key is to ensure that every step brings more of what you want. As one of SA's largest providers of retirement living and home care services, ECH can offer you more in every sense.
That's right. Whether you want more help around the home, more help with your health, or even the perfect home to downsize to, ECH is here to bring you more.
Most importantly, ECH won't ever tell you where you should be, but they'll always support you wherever you are and wherever you want to go.
So if you want to get more out of life, just ask ECH about home care and retirement living today.
Why are we here? What is the nature of reality? Do I really need all that data to listen to history podcasts?
Huzzah! Question everything!
Especially your telco plan. Get the data you need at low prices with Aldi Mobile.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
30 minutes to 7. Let's talk about the weather today and for the rest of the week. Simon Timke at the Weather Bureau joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Morning to you, Simon.
Good morning, Will. Morning, David.
What are we expecting for Tuesday beyond more cold?
Well, yeah, that's right. Looking at the radar at the moment, we've got some areas of rain well to the north of Adelaide, up sort of north of about Clare. Port Perry's actually picked up about 19 millimetres overnight. And I think most of that will probably stay to the north of Adelaide. But we might see a couple of showers sneak down, I think, so probably a little bit more likely about the northern suburbs than the southern suburbs, and unlikely to see too much in the way of totals, I think. The winds today generally easterly in direction, I think, are not too strong, probably becoming a little bit lighter during the afternoon. Temperature-wise, we had an overnight minimum of 8.5 degrees, currently in the city sitting on 10.8 degrees, and expecting a maximum of 13 for the city today, 13 as well for Noarlunga and Glenelg, 12 degrees for Elizabeth today and 11 degrees for Mount Barker. Similar sort of day on the way for Wednesday, partly cloudy. We might see one or two showers around the place again. Down to 6 overnight. It's a bit colder tomorrow morning, 13 degrees the maximum. For Thursday, still a chance of a shower, but like today and tomorrow, unlikely to see too much in the way of totals. Temperatures down to 5 overnight, so another cold start, 14 degrees the maximum for Thursday. I think Friday probably should be dry, bit of cloud around, another cold start down to 5 degrees for our minimum temperature for Friday morning, 15 degrees the maximum. And then Saturday, looking like a dry day, bit of cloud around, but no showers, down to 5 overnight, 15 degrees the maximum. Bit of sunshine to start off with on Sunday, then we might see a shower or two later in the day, although I think that it would be probably after dark before we see anything on Sunday. 16 degrees the maximum for Sunday, guys.
Magnificent work, Simon.
Nice.
Thank you. Simon Timke at the Weather Bureau. Let's head to Sapole. Constable Liam Bennett joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Liam, it's been a suspicious car fire at Bolivar.
Yes, good morning. About 1:20am this morning, police and fire crews were called to the north-south motorway at Bolivar following reports of a car on fire. Patrols arrived to find the Ford Ute in the northbound emergency lane engulfed in flames, with firefighters attending and working quickly to extinguish the fire, which unfortunately destroyed the Ute. Police are treating the fire as suspicious after a silver van was captured on CCTV in the vicinity of the Ute just prior to the fire. So we're asking anyone who was a witness or who has dash cam from this area at about 1:20am this morning to please contact Crime Stoppers online or via free call 1800 333 000.
Liam, also a car has gone into a house in Whyalla.
Yes, about 2:45 this morning, a patrol tried to pull over a red Commodore on Clutterbuck Street in Whyalla. However, it failed to stop and accelerated along the back streets. Moments after taking off, the driver lost control at the intersection with Hinks Avenue and crashed into the front of a house. Luckily, the driver and the occupants of the house were not injured. The driver, a 24-year-old Whyalla Stewart woman, was arrested and charged with driving whilst disqualified, failing to stop, driving at a speed dangerous and property damage. She was also charged with drug driving after she tested positive to methamphetamine. She was bound to appear in the Whyalla Magistrates Court in September and her vehicle was towed from the scene.
What a rat bag. Good stuff. Constable Liam Bennett there from SAPOL.
Well, the State Cabinet made a flying visit to the York Peninsula yesterday and they came bearing gifts. They increased the amount of money that is accessible to people impacted adversely by the algal bloom from $10,000 to $100,000 for those that were directly affected. They also released some detail with regard to how you can get it, promising that it will flow into people's pockets within the next couple of weeks. Fraser Ellis is the member for Narunga, which is the local electoral district. Fraser, good morning to you.
Morning, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
So, Fraser, as the local member, you sadly have had a front row seat for this marine apocalypse that's been unfolding, with York's being, along with KI, pretty much the hardest hit. What's your assessment of the contribution that the government has now made and the fact that they were up there yesterday?
Well, glad to have them, for one. I mean, it's good to hear directly from the people that are affected, more so than via a third party. My assessment of the actual package is that it's a good stopgap. I mean, if this thing continues as it has been, and that is snowballing from, first saw it in mid-March and on the Florio, and it's snowballed since then. If it continues to snowball and hang around through summer, we're going to need more. It will be an absolutely diabolical situation, coupled with the fact that it's looking like a relatively dry harvest. It'll be a really dangerous or really, poor situation down here if we get to the situation where the bloom hangs around and the harvest isn't any good, and we'll be left, without a paddle.
You guys are pretty dependent too on those seasonal visits, and we heard some stories last week from Edithburgh, from Port Vincent, from the Caravan Park, the General Store, about how in the July school holidays just gone, campsites, cabins, jetties were relatively empty compared to what's normally the case. Has that been your experience as the local member? Does it feel like a bit of a ghost town?
Yeah, it does, and it has been quite extraordinary to see some really popular campgrounds basically empty over school holidays. I mean, it's certainly not the peak tourism season. We, try and break. My understanding is that the operators try and break even this time of year, but to have no one here and have to suffer the significant losses that they have done is really worrying for what the summer needs to bring, so that they can continue to keep their heads above water. So it's we really do feel like we're ground zero at the moment, and it was good to have the government here and good that the stopgap measure was announced. But if it hangs around through summer, more will be needed.
Are there businesses that aren't getting help, that aren't, through the way these things are often categorised? Are there some that aren't eligible?
This is my concern that I'm going to chase up today. Obviously, they only came yesterday, and I'm just trying to work my way through it. But it seems to me that restaurants and hotels aren't included in this package. And to be clear, the $100,000 is for commercial fishers and oyster farmers, and it's up to $10,000 for affected businesses that are down 30%. So it seems to me that the hotels and restaurants that are on coastal communities that no one's coming to are excluded from that $10,000 grant. And I reckon if that's the case, I'll be seeking to have that changed, because if you can prove that you're down 30%, which is a significant amount, and it's clearly and obviously due to the algal bloom, I can't understand why some are eligible and others aren't. I would have thought that a pub down 30% on a coastal community because no one's there is just as eligible as a caravan or seaside kiosk as well. So I'm seeking clarification on that this week coming, and if that's the case, then I think it urgently needs to change.
Fraser, are there things beyond financial assistance that your constituents would like to see the state government doing? We've spoken to people in recent days and weeks who, from local government, have said we need some help with signage. We've heard from people in fisheries who say there needs to be better at communication around the fact there's no risk in eating food, and that would help us at a time like this. Are there things that people living on the ground there are saying that go beyond just money?
Yeah, I suspect so. And a lot of it is a moving beast. Because, I mean, in defence of the government, this algal bloom has carried on longer than it was expected to, pardon me. And we are still unsure whether it will hang around for summer. We had a meeting on Thursday night last week, and the ecologist put it at a 20 to 40% chance it'll break up in the next few weeks and be all clear in time for our peak tourism season. But if it's not, then there'll be something like the voucher scheme to encourage people to get here, like you said, a good PR campaign to explain what's safe and what's not, whether people can go swimming or can go fishing and those sorts of things. So it is a little bit of a moving feast. It depends whether it hangs around or not, but should it hang around, it won't be just the cash. It'll be figuring out ways to get people here and letting them know what they can and can't do.
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible situation. Good questions you raised too about those businesses, and we'll pursue them as well, Fraser, because we've got the Treasurer coming on later. I'm sure he's full bottle on that. But we totally agree with you. It doesn't matter what sort of business you are. If you're down 30%, you should be eligible. End of story. Fraser Ellis, the member for Narungga there on Yorks. Thanks for that.
It was a piece we had on 7 News last night where there's some of the business you wouldn't even think of. The local hardware store in one coastal community sells fishing equipment. They sell hooks and sinkers and line and whatnot. And the guy running the place said, usually it ticks along regularly because everyone comes to go fishing and they stop in at our store and they restock the tackle box. He said, we haven't sold a single piece of fishing equipment
really
over the school holidays in this period.
Yeah.
Not one hook, no one needed a new line. There was nothing. They didn't sell. They made $0 out of it, something that usually just ticks along normally.
Yeah.
And that's a business you wouldn't typically think algal bloom or the hardware store is going to be suffering. But it's way broader than what we instantly think.
Well, you think even servos. Like you go to a lot of those independently owned regional and rural servos, and they got the bait freezer, the hand lines, rods, burley, all sorts of stuff sitting there, and that'd be a significant portion of their income.
Yeah. Let's go to West Croydon. Bob's called in because, Bob, you've got someone you'd like to nominate as celebrated in musical form, a la John Farnham next year.
Yes, Will, one especially for you. We could call it Wang Wang and Fooney. And the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra could play music, and the two pandas could just be up on stage and they could just sit and sleep and eat bamboo.
I'll tell you who else would be sleeping is everyone in the audience.
Thank you, Bob. That was excellent, Bob. Sort of like performance art, just sitting there. Is anything going to happen at any point? No. They're just going to eat more bamboo. What about this one from Jess in South Plympton? I have a musical suggestion, David and Will. From Housing Commissioner House of Reps, Albo the Musical, featuring smash hits like How Good's a Latte in Marrickville, Midnight Oil and Middle Class Dreams, and the power ballad Coalition and Compromise. How good's that? Jess has got a play. I think Jess has written some musicals before.
That revealed a bit there.
Jess is the Andrew Lloyd Webber of Plympton.
That was excellent. Keep them coming in, the Police Home Care text line this morning. Hey, it's Buy SA Week, of course, this week, back for 2025 to celebrate. We're showcasing some of the fantastic brands our state has on offer, and all this week we're going to be speaking to some of the local legends behind these brands. I won't give away too much, but this is a brand you can drink that we're going to be celebrating a little bit later today. And that's important because we also give you the chance to win something if you call in at the appropriate time. All thanks to Brand SA. Support local and buy SA for SA. Look for the state logo on products during your next shop.
Last month, we serviced around 11,000 vehicles, more than 1,500 Fords, 1,200 Holdens, 1,000 Subarus, 800 Isuzus, MGs, BMWs, Mercs, Audis. That's right, over 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters or book online. All centres offer repair now, pay later options. So switch and save with Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Adam from Gutser.
We've been relining gutters across Australia for nearly 30 years. Now you can get your hands on our DIY house gutter relining kit. This means you can install gutter liner for under $10 a metre. It's tough, has a 10-year weatherproof warranty, and it's 70% cheaper than replacing your gutters. Go to gutser.com.au to see the installation videos. Buy online and get the kit delivered to your door. Nothing can be finer than Gutser Gutter Liner.
The SUV you haven't met yet. JQ has arrived, and Morford Vale is the only place you'll find them. Premium looks, smart tech, designed for beach getaways, back road breaks and school runs with flair. Plus an 8-year warranty and Australia's first future price promise. You won't just love the ride, you'll love the peace of mind. Only available at JQ Morford Vale. Built for this wild life. Wildly cool. Main South Road. T's and C's apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 13 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extras Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
The MFS were called to Smith's Snack Foods at Regency Park shortly after 1 this morning. There was a fire in a production oven and extraction system. Crews were able to contain the blaze. The cause and damage bill is yet to be determined. There's been a car fire at Bolivar. The ute was reported alight on the north-south motorway early this morning. It was found in the northbound emergency lane, engulfed in flames. Senior Constable Liam Bennett is appealing for more information.
Police are treating the fire as suspicious after a silver van was captured on CCTV in the vicinity of the ute just prior to the fire. So we're asking anyone who was a witness or who has dash cam from this area at about 1:20am this morning to please contact Crime Stoppers online or via free call 1800 333 000.
The United Nations says global hunger levels have decreased this year but are still above pre-pandemic levels. The BBC's Camilla Mills reports.
The UN's latest report paints a mixed picture, with a rise in food insecurity in Africa being offset by improvements in South America and Asia. Current projections suggest over 500 million people will still be undernourished by the end of the decade, which is the target to eradicate hunger. Almost 2/3 will be in Africa. The head of the African Union has urged its member states to devote 10% of their gross domestic product to agriculture to promote nutritional resilience. Humanitarian organisations have criticised recent cuts to US and Western aid, which they say will impact the world's most vulnerable people.
Blood donation eligibility has now been expanded to cancer survivors 1 year after treatment. Survivors will need to provide confirmation from their doctors they're in remission to meet the criteria to donate. Anyone currently with blood cancer won't qualify. Ultraviolet light is being used to protect older Australians from respiratory infections. The technology reduced rates of infection by 12% during a trial in several aged care facilities. Flinders University Professor Geraint Rogers says it complements existing infection control methods like hand hygiene.
In identifying this germicidal UV technology, what we think we're doing is really closing a gap which helps COVID-19 to spread, but also helps flu, common colds, RSV.
And get ready to head back to Pandora. The first trailer for James Cameron's Avatar 3 has been released. Avatar Fire and Ash will be out in December. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren. What's happening at West Lakes, Tommy?
Well, Mel, Adelaide defender Max Michelini, he's going to miss the rest of the minor round as he battles a hamstring injury he suffered in Saturday night showdown. The 21-year-old telling Nine News he felt something pop during the game.
A bit of a popping sensation, which was a little bit weird, but no, thankfully it's feeling all right now.
You had that issue in the past?
I had a little issue when I was about 15, but nothing like that since.
Meantime, Port Adelaide assistant coach Josh Carr doesn't think he should take over from Ken Hinckley before the season is complete. The incoming coach telling Rowie and Timmy G it wouldn't best serve the club.
No, there's been no conversation about it, no talk about it, and I don't think there's any merit in it. I think we've got 4 weeks left in the season. We want to finish strong. I think that's just throwing another spanner in the works with too many moving parts.
The Power take on Geelong in Geelong on Sunday afternoon. And the AFL Tribunal has upheld the 3-match ban for Melbourne's Stephen May. And Australia has added another medal on night 2 of the World Swimming Championships in Singapore. Alex Perkins winning bronze in the women's 100-metre butterfly. And that's the 5AA sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Angle Farm, a large pothole getting repaired on Bridge Road near Montague Road. We're slow for works at Ashford, Anzac Highway near Gallipoli Ramp. Slow for works at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street. And look out for works today at Highgate. Speeds at 40 there, Fullerton Road near Rowden Grove. Cameras, Adelphi Terrace, Glenelg North and Airport Road at Brooklyn Park. There's $1,000 to win every day with C Coffee at OTR. Simply scan the OTR app for your chance to win. T's and C's apply. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Camper Agent RV Supercentre for caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and big savings at Parafield Gardens.
We'll just get this in quickly. A shower or two, 13 today. A shower or two tomorrow, 13. Thursday, a possible shower and 14. Right now, it's 11 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
6 after 7, and good morning to you if you're joining us for the first time on this Tuesday morning, the 29th of July. Looking forward to a chat we're going to be having after 7:30 today. It's Donate Life Week, and we're going to be chatting with the Police Commissioner, Grant Stevens, and the OTA Advisory Board member, Oren Clemich, about the decision to donate your organs to save what is so often many, many lives after the decision gets taken. So we will talk about that after 7:30 today. Also, coming up very shortly, there is going to be a fish funeral for the algal bloom that's going to be taking place this weekend. The City of Holdfast Bay Mayor Amanda Wilson will be on the program to talk about that. And then a little bit later, the Treasurer, Stephen Mulligan. We're getting a long list this morning of potential Treasurer topics, and our listeners have contributed to this on 0480 1395. The Bedford bailout, that State of the States report we had yesterday that was a glowing report card for the state. The doctor's EBA is a really interesting one that we'll talk to him about.
We've got the detail on that. That'll be revealed after 8 o'clock.
Oh, no one's got the detail on that.
No, we got it, and it's one of the few developments at the moment which will have the Treasurer breathing a sigh of relief.
Okay, all right. Well, that will be revealed in Breaking at 8 then. Matt and Seacliff's called in. Matt, you've seen a crash this morning.
Yeah, morning, boys. It's just if you're coming off Panatalinga Road, just over South Road towards the top of the expressway, there's a fairly decent crash there. It was a little bit hard. It's about 10 minutes ago now. But, it's basically right in the middle of the intersection. So, there's a white Mazda and a silver Corolla. So one of them looks like he works at Bunnings, so they might be one short today, I'd imagine, by the looks of that. So not good up there.
No.
All right, Matt.
Thanks for that, Matt.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We'll follow that one and try and get some more information on as it does come to hand. Thank you for your call, Matt. Let's head out to Regency Park. Hayden Nelson for 7 News is covering a fire there. Hayden, at the Smith's Chips factory, is that right?
Hot chips, David and Will.
Hot chips.
Hot chips. Early this morning, at about 1:20 in Regency Park, the Smith's Chips factory, where they make Doritos, they make Cheetos, Burger Rings, Red Rock Deli, Smith's, of course. The oven got overheated quite early this morning. There was a fire inside it. Firefighters were called. They upgraded their response, so they had about 6 fire trucks here at the time. They put out the fire in the oven and the chimney, and all's well at the moment. They've managed to put out the fire. They had an aerial truck that came in as well to monitor for hot spots, so sort of check over the factory. But this is a 24-hour factory, so there's plenty of stuff here at the time. They've had their shift change this morning, and it all seems to be business as usual at the moment. I've reached out to PepsiCo, so that's the parent company, for a statement and to sort of tell us exactly what oven's caught fire and what that oven was making, because there's so many great brands of Smith chips that we all love, that we're keen to get to the bottom of that one. But at this stage, everything's back to normal. Certainly a bit of a scare overnight. But yeah, business as usual this morning, guys.
Any word, Hayden, on whether this is going to affect the supply of, key essentials such as burger rings?
It was my first question, guys. And there's a few other cracking flavours that are sort of a bit ironic. They have flaming hot puffed Cheetos.
Really
and
flaming hot now.
Flavour as well, so pretty flaming hot in there. But no word yet. And as I said, I think it is, in all seriousness, it was more of a scare. It was more of just Fieries coming here to make sure that this didn't get out of control, and they did a great job doing that overnight.
Oh, that's good news. The last thing we needed was panic buying of chips today.
I know. Well, first toilet paper, now this.
Yeah, exactly right. Hayden Nelson for 7 News. He'll have it all covered. He'll have those questions answered by the time it's on 7 News tonight as well.
You got a go-to chip, Will?
I really like... do you mean just general flavour or brand?
Flavour and brand.
Anything with chilli in it.
Yeah, I don't like chili chips.
Oh, yeah? I love chili chips.
I'm a big traditionalist. I like the Smith's plain potato. Cheese and onion's pretty good.
All right.
There's a lot to be said for a chip sandwich made with, bog standard tip-top bread. You know what you don't want to get into, though? Because it's an expensive habit to develop Boulder Canyon. They're these American chips.
I've never heard of them before.
Jalapeno and cheddar, Boulder Canyon. They are the bomb.
Sounds good to me. Let's jump into some of the other things happening in the news cycle this morning. We heard from Donald Trump a little bit earlier when we crossed with Rob Scott regarding his peculiar comments about turning down an invitation to Epstein Island. He's also said some other things overnight. One of them is of significant international import, and it has to do with the timeline he'd provided to Vladimir Putin to start talking ceasefire with Ukraine. He'd originally said you've got 50 days. Well, this morning, he says his patience is running thin and that timeline has come down a fair way.
I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs, secondary tariffs. You know what a secondary tariff is?
It's taken him 6 months. He's slowly working out this Putin fella. And maybe he's not negotiating in good faith when it comes to the ceasefire in Ukraine that he keeps promising is just around the corner.
It's amazing, though, to think how internally focused Trump promised to be during the campaign. I saw yesterday that the sort of skirmish that Trump, when he was running for president, would have just instinctively said, well, what's this got to do with us? I'm here to save steelworkers' jobs in Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But he was on the phone yesterday to the Thais and the Cambodians about their border skirmish, which has killed something like 38 people. It's now been defused after talks with Malaysia. But he's quite the internationalist, isn't he?
It's been doing a complete about-face from what he promised to be. Well, we talked about him as an isolationist, an old-fashioned, pre-World War II US-style isolationist.
Yeah, like why is it America's job to fix everything?
Yeah.
But he's acting like, and I think it's because he's obsessed with making deals. He just can't help himself. If he sees the Thais and the Cambodians going hammer and tong, he'll pick up the phone and say, I'm going to fix this one up too.
I think this is a really good story this morning that we've been running in news, and you'll be able to read it in the Thais and online as well. People who are in remission from a cancer diagnosis will be able to give blood. Previously, if you go through the Q&A and you go on the Lifeblood website about can you donate and when you tick box, there gets to a point, a question about a cancer, and if you've had it, it will tell you that, no, you won't be able to donate blood. Well, that's all about to change so long as you get a letter from your doctor, your GP, saying you're in remission and you've got all the requirements ticked. You can now donate, which is great news because of we are regularly in shortfall when it comes to blood donation. Here's Kath Stone on this subject.
Cancer patients are Australia's largest users of blood, with over 11,000 donations needed every week for treatments, and the demand is growing.
Which is
good news.
Terrific news. And it does make sense. Kath does touch on that fact, that the idea that these are people that have been recipients of blood, most in all likelihood, they're probably people that would be really likely to go and donate themselves.
They're really motivated to do it. A lot of chip talk on the text line. Tony in Montague Farm says you can't beat Smith's chips and cheese on some fresh tip-top. And Phil, he's thrilled to hear that the Twisty supply is not going to be interrupted because he's a big fan of the plain bread roll stuffed with Twisties. Good on you, Phil.
We don't want a chip-related inflationary event here in South Australia. Sounds like that one's going to be crisis averted as well. Hey, we are now, 6 days away from the Undie Drive starting next year, and it's all about throwing next week. Next week.
Well, there will be one next year too.
You're right. It's a year and 6 days away from the one that's next year.
Only 53 more weeks to go.
You know what I meant. It's all about Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre with the Undie Drive. So we're calling on you to support these amazing charities. They do so much wonderful work here in South Australia. It's all about providing clean underwear. The way this started a decade ago essentially was we went to them saying, "What do you need?" And they said, "You know what no one thinks about? Is underwear."
Yeah.
And that's how the Undie Drive began a decade ago.
And it never really occurred to me either.
No, and perhaps before we started talking, it wasn't the kind of thing people necessarily were comfortable going to buy, random pairs of various sized underwear, but they said that's what they had a shortfall of, so we said, let's come up with the Undie Drive.
We've become quite comfortable doing it.
Very comfortable.
We had that visit to Target in the mall. So last year or the year before.
That's right, we just bought a whole bunch of undies.
We bought 700 bras.
You can donate now, and you can donate with money, of course, too, because it's broadened out over the course of the journey, and you can donate, in fact, right now at 5AAUndiedrive.com.au. Plus, there'll be more ways than ever to get involved, so keep listening to 5AA for the ways you can help online, on the radio, going to the website and so forth. Big thanks to McGain as well. Massive supporters of Local 50 years. McGain Real Estate, McGain Commercial, McGain Property Management, McGain.com.au. Love their support for Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre. Let's check traffic. Mannix Air Conditioning is the SA name you know and trust for range, unbeatable prices and advice. Nobody beats Mannix.
Morning there at Trop Park, two-car collision at the main South Road and Palatinger Road intersection. Port Adelaide, a four-car smash on the Port of Expressway near Perkins Drive. Delays as you're heading into Port Adelaide. And Eagle Farm, large pothole getting repaired on Bridge Road near Montague Road. Cameras at Elfie Terrace, Glenorg North and Press Road at Brooklyn Park. Budding songwriters from kindergarten to year 12. It's time to enter the ACMF National Songwriting Competition. See how to enter at acmf.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings. Bedford Industries, the bailout. Stephen Mulligan, State Treasurer.
Their position became absolutely critical when it became clear that their bank wasn't going to extend them any further financial support, and the Commonwealth wasn't prepared to consider providing any support.
Graham Goodings.
So we've come up with a support package that keeps the doors of Bedford open for the immediate future.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Are you over 50 and fed up with your bloated belly? Craving bowel regularity and immune system support? Say goodbye to gut discomfort with Caruso's Over 50s Probiotic. Caruso's Over 50s Probiotic supports bowel regularity and relieves bloating associated with medically diagnosed IBS. It also supports the immune system of people over 50. If you're fed up living with an unhappy gut, try Caruso's Over 50s Probiotic today. From leading pharmacies and health stores, always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Hands up, who wants more customers? 5AA is helping local businesses grow their brand and reach more people. Join us at Jarmer's Kitchen in Bowden on the 2nd or 3rd of September for a free session with audio marketing experts. Learn how audio campaigns can drive real results for your business. Spots are limited. Don't miss this opportunity to amplify your brand with audio. RSVP now and choose a time that suits you at audiorsvp.com.au.
You've built a life in your street, the neighbours know your name, the barista knows your order, but lately you come into the conclusion that your home just isn't quite working out for you. Well, not the way it could be. If you have a large block, get in touch with Metro Homes.
Metro specialise in knockdown and rebuild projects, and they're helping people all over Adelaide set themselves up for a solid future.
They can replace your existing house with two brand new homes on the same block, one for you, designed to suit how you live now, and the other as an investment property right next door. It's a smart way to stay put while setting yourself up for the future.
Also helps create the houses that we need to alleviate the housing crisis. Metro takes care of everything too, the design, the approvals, the build, the lot. Build your future where you really feel at home. Go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Get a free taste of SA from the 28th of July to the 3rd of August at Buy SA Week. Explore what's on at buysa.sa.gov.au.
There was this huge spider.
Really silly place for a letterbox.
Seriously, there were cows all over the road.
At Premier Panel Services, we've heard it all. But the one thing we hear often is, when will my car be ready? In most cases, we can start work straight away, thanks to our state-of-the-art workshop and highly skilled team. Ask your insurance company for Premier Panel Services. With over 45 years' experience, we'll get you back on the road sooner. premierpanel.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 after 7, not this weekend, but the weekend following, there's going to be a fish funeral in South Australia. What does that involve? The City of Holdfast Bay Mayor Amanda Wilson joins us to explain. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
I've got to say, Mayor, normally you hear that there's going to be some event like this and you'd think Extinction Rebellion is behind it, but I think this is actually probably quite in step with the sense of outrage and despair that South Australians feel about what's happening to all of our marine life. It's just been heartbreaking.
It has, and my community is extremely upset and devastated. Every day we're seeing more and more fish and marine creatures being washed up on our shores. Yesterday at Seaford, a seal pup was washed up. So I thought that we needed to have an event that at least marked this catastrophe. So we're having a beach vigil for marine life, which will be on Saturday, August the 9th, which is the next full moon, and it will be at 5:30 at both Brighton and Glenelg jetties. It's being run by volunteers. It will be at sunset, and we're hoping to get as many people as we can on the beach with candles so that we can get those images of a community in mourning and hopefully create an event that will gain the attention of the national media and also the
good luck with
media.
that.
Yeah, I've been communicating with CNN, so, that's a good start. But we really want to send a signal to Canberra that they need to do more. And I'm really delighted to also announce that Mayor Moira Weir at Onkaparinga will also be having a vigil at the Port Noarlunga jetty at the same time at 5:30 on the 9th of August. And we're really wanting other coastal communities to get together on this night. It's the next full moon, so the images should look pretty good as long as it's a nice night, to follow our lead and, mark the event for their community, and so that we can say to Canberra, this is an entire South Australian coastline. Well, more than that, the city, everybody's invited. It's a South Australian event, and, we need the rest of the country to be aware of, the devastation that's happening here.
Mayor, I was actually looking at the Onkaparinga Council's website yesterday, and I noticed that they've only, I think, in the past few days, and this isn't a knock on the council, but they've now got a sort of ticker on top of their website, and I'm guessing Holdfast Bay might too, saying all the latest info you can get about the algal bloom, and it is a hyperlink to an SA government website that's got like a Q&A. It's a pretty short Q&A, I got to say. It's not the most in-depth thing I've ever read in my life. But how have councils been faring in terms of getting their hands on that sort of meaningful information, e.g., can I walk my dog, can I swim, can I eat fish, all that sort of information? Because, the government, the state government is the body that's got all the experts advising them on that. How do you rate the way that process has been handled?
Look, I think that they're absolutely run off their feet at the moment, but there's certainly, and that's why we need the federal government to come in as well to assist. I feel like there's a bit of an information vacuum out there. I'm on the beach regularly. Unfortunately, last week we had another mass marine life dump on the beaches, and there were still people down there with their dogs off the leashes, and the dogs were running amongst the dead sea life. And, obviously visitation is down significantly along our coastal walk. It's devastating for our communities, but I wouldn't want to criticise anyone working in that scientific field at the moment, because they do have a lot of work on, and their phones are running off the hook. But there has been a bit of a information vacuum.
Because the councils themselves you wouldn't have dedicated scientific type advisors, would you? Like the councils?
We do. We have our coastal team has got 2 scientists on there. We've invested in the environment. So we do, but they're also run off their feet as well. And let's also remember that this is a devastating time for them. The scientists involved in this are people who love marine life and the sea, and they're having to bear witness to this huge death toll that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. City of Belfast Bay Mayor Amanda Wilson, thanks for joining us this morning.
25 minutes after 7, it's Buy SA Week all week in South Australia, and of course 5AA Breakfast, of course, as well. To celebrate, we're showcasing some of the fantastic brands our state has on offer, and all this week we'll be speaking to the people behind those brands, plus giving you the chance to win just by getting involved. All thanks to Brand SA, where the message is simple: support local and buy SA for SA. Look for the state logo on products during your next shop. Probably got a time for a couple of police home care texts.
This is a text message dear to your heart, Will, from Rich in Kidman Park. Good morning, Dave and Will. Talking of the Undy Run, my local coffee shop, Coffee by the Bean, on the corner of Henley Beach Road and Douglas Street at Lockley's. They're running their 4th annual fundraiser for the Hutt Street Centre this Saturday, donating $1 from each coffee sold. When you lived around the corner, that
was my go-to.
Yeah.
Walking distance from Coffee by the Beans. It's one of the thing I miss the most from living in Lockley's was going there. I love that place.
They still have a really good BLT in there.
It's all good stuff. It was all real high end. It was great.
No, it's a
good
good spot.
gem in that part of Adelaide.
And look, listen, can we just put Adelaide's businesses, big and small, on red alert? Because next week, as is always the case during the Undy Drive, shameless pluggery is what it's all about.
Yes.
We don't care what you do. We don't care how checkered your industrial relations or financial history is. If you're a business and you're donating money, we will...
The slate is clean.
That's right. Exactly. You can basically buy redemption by donating to the Hutt Street Centre and Catherine House for the Undy Drive.
Cleanse your soul.
If BP post the Gulf of Mexico spill donated money to the Undy Drive, we would be blowing smoke up there. You know what?
Started with oil, now they're spilling dollars to the homeless.
That's right, exactly. And, those SEALs had it coming. No, in all seriousness, folks, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and it's great, because the history of the Undy Drive is that, you get more cashed-up groups like Cochrane's or the AHA, make these huge and hugely important donations, but then you get places like Coffee by the Bean doing it too. So if you're a smaller business that's had a reasonably good year and you got a lazy $500,
well, this is the thing, isn't it?
Under the till, give us a call next week.
You might not
get maximum coverage.
You might not have 10 grand or 25 grand to pay for a full advertising campaign on a commercial radio station, but if you got $500 to give to a charity all next week, you'll get the same value for money.
Yep.
It's a pretty easy...
You will. You actually will.
Yeah. It's a pretty easy financial decision to make, actually.
The other thing we'd like to see is a sort of sector-by-sector cage fight. Remember the year when all the cleaners started
bidding? Cleaners were amazing.
Like every cleaning firm in Adelaide. Maybe this year it's the, laundromats.
Why not?
Who knows?
What the gauntlet has been laid down.
Yeah. So just put your thinking caps on, corporate Adelaide.
All right, we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up. We're talking organ donation because this week is a really important week for that endeavour as well. And we've got 2 very special guests in the studio next.
What kind of future do you dream of for your child? Catholic schools offer affordable, quality education and nurture values that last a lifetime. Every child is welcome in a supported and caring environment. During Catholic Schools Open Week, August 4 to 10, you can book a tour to come see and feel the difference. Visit the Catholic Education South Australia website to find a school near you. Catholic Education, raising hearts and minds.
Why filter your whole home's water? Filter where it counts most for a fraction of the cost with PureTap. The best place to filter your water is right at the tap. Skip all the rust and gunk in your pipes and filter your water just before it hits your glass with a PureTap. Adelaide's most affordable, refreshing drinking water is just one call away. Cut the chemicals. Get the tap. Call Puritap now on 133 502 or visit puritap.com.au.
Right now, thousands of people in our community don't know where their next meal will come from, when they'll have access to a hot shower, or even where they can safely rest.
Demand for Hutt Street Centre services has doubled since last winter, and it's a trend that continues to grow, sadly, year on year.
You can make a real difference by joining the annual Walk a Mile in My Boots event, raising vital funds and awareness for people experiencing homelessness.
So getting involved is simple. Sign up, spread the word and walk together on Friday, August the 8th. And if you can't join on the day, a donation is just as valuable.
Register or donate today at walkamile.org.au and step up to end homelessness.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 13 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. physioextra.com.
There's been a fire at the Smith's Snack Foods factory at Regency Park. Hayden Nelson from 7 News is there.
The oven got overheated quite early this morning. There was a fire inside it. Firefighters were called. They upgraded their response, so they had about 6 fire trucks here at the time. They put out the fire in the oven and the chimney.
A car fire on the north-south motorway at Bolivar early this morning is being treated as suspicious. The Ford Ute was found alight in the northbound emergency lane. A new report is highlighting the need for innovation within Australia's intelligence agencies. Current and former security figures say the core business model of the national intelligence community is being challenged despite significant investment. The Australian Strategic Policy Institute's Chris Taylor says there is a simple way to address the issue.
We used to think we had the edge in money and technology. That's not necessarily the case anymore. What we're going to need to be able to do is innovate.
People who've recovered from cancer can now give blood. Gabrielle Hodson says Australian Red Cross Lifeblood has announced the changes.
Donors can start rolling up their sleeves a year after treatment, but will have to undergo health checks and have confirmation from medical experts they're in remission. On the flip side, cancer patients are Australia's biggest users of donated blood, representing about a third of supplies. The Red Cross says the change comes after research had shown it was safe for former patients, although people who've had blood cancer remain ineligible.
Ansett is back, this time as an AI-powered travel agency. The airline closed more than 20 years ago, but a Melbourne entrepreneur has bought the trademark Ansett Travel, believing the name still has kudos for his AI-powered travel agency. But aviation analyst Peter Harbison warns there is some baggage associated with the name.
There are a lot of people who are still pretty dirty about Ansett, particularly 16,000 people
yes,
who
all those job losses.
And probably a lot of people also had sort of tens of thousands or even a million frequent flyer points with them who probably will be calling up this guy and asking if they can have a credit for their travel.
And Ed Sheeran tickets go on sale this morning through Ticketek. The British singer-songwriter will return to Adelaide Oval on March 5 next year. The sale starts at 11:30. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you for that, Mel. The AFL will host all 19 AFL clubs today for the inaugural Industry Summit. Meantime, Collingwood has reportedly offered a 4-year deal to out-of-contract defender Jack Silvani. 3AW commentator Matthew Lloyd telling Footy Classified it makes sense for the Magpies.
I just looked at it. Billy Frampton, Charlie Dean, Jeremy Howe retiring. So I can understand why they're going after him.
Cricket Australia will consider selling a stake in its Big Bash clubs. Eddie Summerfield reports.
A review has recommended selling minority stakes in the 8 Big Bash clubs. They're currently owned by Cricket Australia and the States. The recommendation from Boston Consulting Group was presented to CA Chair Mike Baird and the other state boards yesterday. Recently, English cricket reaped $2 billion through the partial sales of 100 franchises. The Age reporting a final decision won't be debated until later this year. The report also recommended the BBL hold off on expanding the number of sides.
Meantime, spinner Adam Zampa is preparing to play his 100th T20 match for Australia. The Aussies will take on the West Indies in their 5th T20 this morning, looking for a series sweep. And a great start for the Aussie men at the Canadian Open with Adam Walton, James Duckworth, Tristan Schoolkate, Alexander Vukic and Chris O'Connell all winning through to the second round after having wins. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Trop Park, a two-car collision to look out for this morning. It's on Main South Road at Panel at Singer Road. Got a nasty forecast smash at Port Adelaide today. She's on the Porter Expressway at Perkins Drive. Big delays inbound through there at the moment. St Ingle Farm, a pothole getting fixed at the moment. Bridge Road at Montague Road. Camera, Valletta Road, Kidman Park. The Woolworths online super sale is on. Save $15 when you spend $50 on selected products. Visit woolworths.com.au, ends midnight tonight. While stocks last, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Camper Agent RV Supercentre for caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and big savings at Parafield Gardens.
13 for your Tuesday with a shower or two. A shower or two tomorrow, 13. Thursday, a possible shower, 14. Friday, partly cloudy, 15. Right now, it's 10 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Here's an important air conditioning tip from Morford Air. Never give your teenagers control over the aircon remote. Your energy bills could go through the roof. Instead, for summer, set it around 21 degrees. It's the most energy efficient temperature. And if you turn it on early, before the teens are out of bed, your system will have less work to do, keeping your home cool all day. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford Air.
Some swear jars collect coins. But at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, their swear jar collects promises.
I'm Chloe. I swear to keep you informed at every stage of your bathroom or kitchen renovation.
Hi, I'm Rick the plumber. I swear to always be on time and clean up after myself.
I'm Laura. I swear to help bring your thoughts and design ideas to life, just how you envisioned them, or better.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
"24 minutes to 8. We're joined in the studio, if you're watching on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, by two very special guests during what is a very important week. It is Donate Life Week, running through until this Sunday, which is the 3rd of August, encouraging more Australians to get behind organ and tissue donation. We like to talk about this every year because it is incredibly important. We love the people that we get to come in to talk about it, the Police Commissioner Grant Stevens and Oren Clement. Good morning to you both.
Morning, gents. Good morning, gentlemen.
We always love having you in, guys. It's amazing how something, for a lot of people, it can be an oversight, can't it? You get your licence, you don't tick the box, or you just never get around to doing it. And in your case, with the loss of both of your sons, can you give us what's the number of lives that have been saved now through the loss of Jack and Charlie? It's into double figures, isn't it?
Yeah. Grant and I have a similar story. The Stevens family and the Clement family both lost their sons, and both were registered through their driver's licence as organ donors. So the tragic decision comes when you're told that, look, your son has passed away. Will you donate organs? And they were both registered, so we were naturally did the right thing and donated. So yeah, 16 years on, 5 of Jack's organs saved 4 people, and 3 are still alive today, which makes
amazing.
Us feel really good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not just about saving lives; it's also just giving people a better quality of life. It's not, corneas, for example. People, getting their eyesight back as a result of a donation from someone who's passed away. There are so many dimensions to this that make a difference in people's lives.
Whenever this comes up every year, and I think increasingly every year, I think this because of the success of this campaign. I always think, have we won this one? Doesn't it? Who doesn't donate? And now I'm thinking, well, that's actually a reasonable question. Who are the people out there who aren't donating, and for what reasons do you guys find that happens? And is it always just, I missed the box and I didn't notice?
Yeah, look, you don't have to be registered to donate, but it's better if you are. But look, a lot of people just either never get around to it or don't know what it means by ticking that box. And a lot of people don't drive, so they don't get the opportunity to register. So you just go on to donatelife.com and you can register online. It takes 1 minute. So that it's really, really easy, but it's such a powerful thing. And, hey, hate to say it, but You don't want to bury healthy organs. You don't want to cremate healthy organs. You can save the lives of other people, and you don't need your organs when you've passed away.
I think a really important thing is if you're registered as an organ donor, it makes the decision for your family that much easier. And the stats show that people who are registered, their family are probably twice as likely to agree to that wish that was made by the person who registered. If you're not registered, it falls to the family to make that decision. And the sad reality is there is less of a tendency to donate organs if a person's not registered. So you're telling your family what your wishes are. It makes it easier for your family to do the right thing.
Are we making it too hard, though? And I hope here that we had him on the show only the other day. I know he's got a lot on his plate at the moment, but the Federal Health Minister, Mark Butler, could hopefully fix this with a stroke of a pen. South Australia seems to have a good system where it's streamlined, where it's done at the point where you get or renew your licence. So you have the question put in front of you. But in other states, from memory, don't you have to voluntarily seek out through Medicare or the MyGov app or something?
Yeah.
You've got to actively get on the front foot yourself to become a donor. Why don't we have a standardised national system?
Mate, I've been trying for 6 years. So that's where we're going to push. It will happen one day because it's sensible. But to have a box on the driver's licence, 72% of South Australia is registered.
So we're way higher than the rest of the states.
We're the only state that has driver's licence registration. So 72% registered here. The national average, or Victoria, is about 26%. National average is about 30%. So
no way.
The driver's licence registration is just a no-brainer. So it's something will hopefully come through. And Mark Butler is very pro the idea. We've chatted to him about that, and he's terrific. South Australian, he's got that mindset of registration. So I'm sure together the current government will make it happen.
And yeah, there's one thing that the federal government supports this, but it comes down to the different states and territories, given their independence, to step to the line and make this decision, because it makes such a difference. And that the sad reality is there are so many people on waiting lists for organs, and the number of people who are registered as donors just doesn't even match that by any extent. And then, sadly, the person who is donating their organs has to die in circumstances that means that we can actually go through the process of that donation.
And they're quite unique circumstances too, aren't they?
You pretty much have to pass away in a hospital, on life support, so that they can, maintain.
Which isn't that many people proportionally from those who die each year, is it?
Number.
I can tell you, about 200,000 people a year die in Australia. 80-odd thousand die in hospital, and of the 80,000 that die in hospital, about 1,500 qualify for organ donation. So, of that 1,500, sadly, only 700 families say yes. So a lot of healthy organs are buried and cremated, and a lot of people die on waiting lists. So, and the reason they say no, because the family will always have the final say, the reason they say no is they don't know what their loved one wanted. So it's easier to say no. Whereas when they're registered, like Charlie and Jack were, the Stevens and the Clemic family have an easy decision to make.
Do you ever meet the families of the recipients? Or I'm sure there's some distance there, but has there ever been a set of circumstances where somehow it's come about that you have? Or
it's all anonymous. I haven't. We've had a letter from his liver recipient recently, which was lovely.
Yeah.
I don't know about Grant. Have you?
No, never met, and I don't think there's any. The intention is to keep it anonymous.
Yeah, sure.
But we've had letters from 3 or 4 recipients of Charlie's organs expressing their gratitude. One from a man who had young children, and he was just grateful for Charlie's gift that it meant he was going to see his kids grow up.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it's a sad thing to read, but it's a bit uplifting as well to know that that gift has made such a big difference.
100%.
It's really moving getting those letters, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really
it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Bittersweet.
Yeah. Bittersweet, but you've done the right thing.
And that your kids did too.
Yeah. And it's just nice for us to know there's a bit of Jack out there keeping some people alive. It's,
absolutely.
Or Charlie wreaking havoc.
That's right. Do you think they might see a behavioural change in some of the recipients, Commissioner?
Oh, certainly. They'll be wondering what's happening. So,
so it's as simple as heading to Donate Life, the website?
Don't wait for your driver's licence to come, but hey, don't delay. Just go on to donatelife.com.au and follow the prompts, have your Medicare card ready. Guarantee you, I might take a minute and a half because I'm slow on the computer, but anyone that's with any talent will take less than a minute to register.
It's easy. It's easy. You just
Really
got to take
easy.
that first step.
Yep. Really easy.
Grant Stevens and Aaron Clemich, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, boys. Thank you.
All right, let's check traffic. All thanks to the name that you can trust when it comes to air conditioning, and that, of course, is Mannix, are the best in the business for unbeatable price and advice. Nobody beats Mannix.
Morning there at Port Adelaide. A nasty forecast smash on the Porter Expressway near Perkins Drive. Delays as you're heading into Port Adelaide. Trot Park, two-car collision at the Main South Road and Palantinga Road intersection. And Eagle Farm, large pothole getting repaired on Bridge Road near Montague Road. Busy South Road, Edwardstown with a camera right now. Military Road at West Beach. Thanks to Mick the cabbie for ringing that one in too. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA-approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
Living on a big block at an older home that's seen better days. Maybe you've just picked up a fixer-upper on a generous slice of land. Metro Homes SA, Adelaide's custom-designed builder, has a clever solution.
That's right. They'll knock down the old place and build 2 brand new homes on the block. You sell one, move where you want, and keep the other as an investment. It's downsizing and building your future, all in one smart move.
And the best part, Metro takes care of the whole lot. Design, planning, council approvals, the works. They make it easy because they've done it all before.
That's right. If you're ready to unlock the potential in your property without the stress, go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
Kids don't want to wait. The sooner, the better. Every moment is a chance to learn and grow. And they're right. It is. The first few years of a child's development play a hugely important part in their future, in learning and in life. That's why the state government is rolling out 3-year-old preschool from 2026. Because the sooner they start, the further they can go. Learn more at flyingstart.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
12 minutes to 8. We've got a trial by jury to conduct very shortly. We might do it inspired by one of your recent columns, David. If you're a regular Penberthy reader, you'll be in a quite educated position to participate in the jury this morning.
Not often accused of doing that through my work, Will.
8223 0055 is the number if you want to get on the jury this morning. And, of course, if you're on the jury, you could win yourself a $100 Samtas seafood voucher just by rendering your verdict. Get calling now. In the meantime, Kaz in Brompton's called in on the subject of organ donation. Morning, Kaz.
G'day, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you, Kaz.
Yeah, I was just walking up the mall one day many, many years ago, and because I wasn't a driver, didn't know how this is pre-Donate Life, and there was a booth, and they said, what about organ donating? I thought, okay, I'll fill out the paperwork and do it, and I'm quite happy to have done it, and family knows about it. And
Yeah.
it's, I think it's a wonderful choice to make. I'm not going to know about it, but, that's what it's all about is, paying forward, so to speak.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's a great analogy, Kaz. And, after you're pushing up the daisies, you don't really need your organs anymore. But, and as Grant Stevens and Oren both explained so well, like you've got to be in a pretty unique category to be of use in a medical sense.
It blows my mind, the stats they had, and hence my question about, well, it feels like we've won the war on this one. We might be closer in South Australia at 72% of people opting in, but the national average is 30-odd%, and Victoria's 26%, they said.
It's one of these silly things. Apparently, from memory, it happened there was some sort of stuff up with the way it was done, where they decided to set up this website that was linked to Medicare, but then for some reason, when they did that, all the other states used to do it with their licences. And then they went, there's now a national website. There's now this national register, so we don't need to do it with our licences anymore. So they got rid of it. So the other states used to be sort of almost as high or as high as SA. We were the only state that had the foresight to say, well, if we're already doing it through licences, let's leave it there. But it was this sort of bureaucratic decision made in the other states. Well, let's take it off the licences.
That's crazy.
Since then, it's collapsed.
Surely you would have had a process by which the people that already opted in on the licence would have been automatically ticked off on the new website.
I'll tell you what, you hear stories like this and you wonder how the boosting national productivity roundtable is going to go, because if they can't sort that out, seriously. Oh, dear.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
We've done a lot of work over the course of the last 18 months talking about proposed age limits for social media, Instagram, Facebook and others, 16 years of age. There's been one that's been the subject of debate, YouTube, because it's not a traditional social media site. It doesn't exist for the purpose of sharing pictures and connecting with friends. It's about it's open source video, really. And as such, it hasn't been included in the federal legislation until now. The E-Safety Commissioner has recommended that YouTube be part of the ban for people under the age of 16. And the Albanese government will announce in the next few days whether it's ultimately taken the decision to listen to that recommendation. So we want to ask you this morning for the jury, hence I mentioned your article, David, that you wrote about this very subject matter, whether YouTube should be banned or not. Should it be banned or not?
This is for kids.
For people under the age of 16. You made the argument, the very persuasive argument, that it has a fair degree of utility for people for under the age of 16.
You watch it a fair bit, don't you?
It's an amazing resource.
You think of any TV show or documentary you've ever seen, you go, hang on, I remember seeing this amazing thing about, I don't know, Jonestown, say. You type Jonestown documentary into YouTube and it's there. Or you go, hang on, who was the richest person who ever lived? Which is the example I used with Sam. Apparently he was some bloke from Mali in the 1300s called Maso Musa who stole all of the gold from Africa. Had you ever heard of that guy?
Never heard of him until I read your article.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. Because Sam just the other day goes, Dad, Musk and Bezos, they're not the richest guys ever. It's Maso Musa. What? Thanks, mate. Who's he? And he's all across it because he watched a doco online.
Should it be part of the ban or not? Banned or not? Juror number one, what say you?
I think it shouldn't be banned. Maybe the parents should control what they watch and when they watch it.
That is a really good point, juror number one. Yeah. Let's hear from the other jurors.
All right, let's not lead the jury too much. Right. Juror number two, good morning. Remember, everyone in the jury has a chance to win $100 worth of Samtaz seafood. Juror number two, what do you think?
Morning, chaps. How you going?
Hey, juror number two.
No, it shouldn't be banned. If they ban it, they're just going to go onto some other platform and find out what they want to find out. So they should keep it going. And as for parental people looking at it, they can only look at it and legislate and fix it from home. The kids are outside doing it on their phone, so it's going to be there.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you, juror number two. Juror number three, good morning.
Good morning. There's actually YouTube for kids.
and that's what my children watch.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this under 16 ban for the normal YouTube, as long as they can still use the YouTube for kids.
Well, I think that's the sticking point. I think it's actually, I think YouTube for kids that the E-Safety Commissioner has said, no.
That's right. It's all gone.
Yeah, they're going to lose the whole thing.
Jury number 4, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. No, definitely not a ban for the YouTube. That's got so much good doco stuff on it. History. That generally, kids aren't generally being taught that at high school or primary school or anything these days. So if you can sit down with the kid and go through telling them about the history, etc., while you're watching the show, because you can pause it and everything like that, I just think it's such a great learning model.
Yeah, the thing that I struggle with when it comes to dumping in YouTube with this, and that was excellent by jury number 4 there, is just so the process by which you access any other traditional social media website is you need to create an account and you log in, and that's you, and you're sharing pictures and you've got your friends, and you can see how it's right for bullying. And you can also see how an age limit can be applied because you need to sign up, right? You need to sign up. YouTube, I don't know. I use YouTube every single day. I've never logged into YouTube.
No, me neither.
So what do we...
And, the thing is, if you haven't logged in... If you haven't... Well, yeah, exactly. If you haven't logged in, you can't see any confronting or explicit videos. So you actually need an account in order to see them too. But I think that the difference between, like, Instagram and Facebook and so on is... YouTube doesn't, like, you don't have sextortion on it. You don't have, like, people can't contact you and say, hey, want to catch up, and it turns out it's some bloke in Nigeria trying to rip you off by tricking you into sending photographs of yourself, which is a huge, huge thing for young men. Like, there's so many guys. There's been some terrible, terrible cases where guys have taken their own lives on account of being ensnared by those hackers and so forth. But you don't have the bullying stuff that you do get, where it's like, these trophy videos, and if they did make their way onto YouTube, and there have been some cases where that has happened, it's different because it's not a follower model like Twitter.
That's right.
Ex-followers.
It's not you and your friends all seeing it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I'm not pretending that some bad stuff hasn't been posted on YouTube, but it just seems to be a much more responsible and thoughtful app than the others, which are all about clicks, and if anyone lands themselves in strife, then that's their problem.
Jury number 5, what do you think?
I agree with both of you guys. I think you've put a really good point, and YouTube's an absolutely wonderful medium for most people. And what happens is they penalise the person using it. Why don't they penalise the people that are actually putting the filth onto any of these subject matters?
Yeah, totally.
That's a good point. It's people that are actually posting them that should be stopped, not the people that are actually looking at the channels like YouTube, and they don't get the source material taken off. It's actually the primary person that should be penalised for it, not the person actually trying to access the platform.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Well put, jury number 5. We'll take one more. Jury number 6, good morning.
Hello.
Hey,
yes,
jury number
6.
Hi, how are you?
Very well,
thank you.
I just wanted to say I don't think it should be banned for kids, but can we ban it for my husband,
please? That's a great call, jury number 6.
Special legislation for jury number 6's husband.
100%.
Sorry, everyone else is okay, but you've been banned. Thank you, jury number 6. Who do we give the $100 Samtas seafood voucher to?
I think for ending it with such a great laugh, let's give it to jury number 6.
I think that's a good decision.
That was excellent.
Jury number 6, you have got the $100 worth of Samtas seafood coming your way. For the best quality seafood and best prices, Samtas Seafood's open 7 days, factory direct at Richmond Road at Richmond.
Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Willington. Understaffing in our hospitals is harming you and me. We urgently need a workforce plan to identify the right number of doctors for each of our hospitals and health services. And we need fair wages and conditions to attract and keep doctors so you can access care when you need it. Help make our health system safer for you and safer for me. Visit safermedicalstaffing.com.au. Authorised by Dr Laura Willington, President, South Australian Salaried Medical Officers Association, Adelaide.
You wake up and you're feeling a bit off. Your nose is runny, but maybe it's just a cold. That scratchy throat, though, that could be something worse.
Test for COVID, Flu A, Flu B and RSV in just minutes with Cell Life, the premium 4-in-1 rapid antigen test. Fast, reliable results. Make the smart choice for your health and your family. Insist on the brand the healthcare professionals prefer. Cell Life at leading chemists and Amazon. CELLIFE.
SEW Eurodrive offers innovative solutions with products and services provided from a single local source. SEW Eurodrive, driving Australian industry since 1982.
The King Living Winter Sale ends Sunday. Save up to 50% on Australian-designed, award-winning furniture. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King? Sale ends Sunday. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today.
Whatever you cook, from a toastie to a three-course meal. Whatever you bake, from a sponge cake to a sourdough. Whoever you entertain, a partner, friends or family. Shop at the new Kitchen Warehouse store on Farnham Road, open now. Our second South Australian store features big brands like Le Creuset, KitchenAid, Magimix, Scanpan and Smeg, plus expert advice from our team. Visit the new Farnham store today or shop at kitchenwarehouse.com.au.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 13 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extras Holistic Care. physioextra.com.
Applications open today for eligible businesses impacted by the toxic algal bloom. Small businesses can apply for up to $10,000 grants if they can demonstrate a 30% decline in turnover, while hardest hit commercial fisheries and aquaculture licence holders can apply for up to $100,000 in support. The state government has committed to processing applications within 15 business days. The MFS were called to Smith's Snack Foods at Regency Park shortly after 1 this morning. Hayden Nelson from 7 News says the oven overheated.
They had an aerial truck that came in as well to monitor for hot spots, so sort of check over the factory. But this is a 24-hour factory, so plenty staff here at the time. They've had their shift change this morning, and it all seems to be business as usual.
Cancer survivors can now donate blood. Gemma Falkenmeyer from Australian Red Cross Lifeblood says it will save lives.
Previously, people with many cancers had been unable to donate for 5 years once they'd been in remission or post-treatment. But from today, there's only a 1-year wait for those people. So as long as they have a letter from their doctor saying that they're healthy and well and in remission, then we're opening our doors.
At least 2 people are dead after a casino shooting in the US. It happened at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno, Nevada. The suspect is now in custody. Donald Trump has been talking about Jeffrey Epstein again, the US president raising eyebrows after saying he never had the privilege of going to his island.
By the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. And many other people that are very big people, nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
And the first picture from the new Frankenstein has been released. Australian actor Jacob Elordi stars as the monster in the film headed to Netflix. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
And with everything footy, it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Yes, let's start there. Port Adelaide's players will hit the training track at Alberton this morning as they look to bounce back following their humiliating showdown loss. Despite the 98-point defeat, assistant coach Josh Carr insists the players didn't wave the white flag against the Crows.
It's definitely unacceptable. We didn't, even on review, I don't think there was a give up to what we did.
The Power will be keeping a close eye on Lachie Jones and Todd Marshall after both pulled up sore from Saturday night's match. That was Jack Lukosius rather, not Todd Marshall. The Crows, meantime, will train around lunchtime as they prepare for Friday night's blockbuster against Hawthorn at home. They'll have to make at least one change for that match. Max Michelani ruled out for the rest of the minor round with a hamstring injury. Still on footy, the AFL Appeals Board has thrown out Stephen May's bid to overturn a 3-game ban for rough conduct. It means the Melbourne defender will miss the remaining 2 matches of his suspension. And Collingwood is reportedly closing in on Carlton's Jack Silvani. The Magpies have reportedly offered a 4-year deal to the out-of-contract defender. Well, Cricket Australia is being recommended not to expand the Big Bash just yet. However, it is being encouraged to consider selling a minority share in the clubs. Alex Perkins has added a bronze medal to Australia's medal tally at the World Swimming Championships in Singapore. That's after her bronze medal swim in the 100-metre butterfly. And Isla Tomljanovic will hit the court in her first round match at the Canadian Tennis Open. That'll be against Latvian Anastasia Sevastova. Fellow Aussie Kim Birrell unfortunately lost her opening round match. And Mel, that is the 5AA Sport.
Thank you. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Trott Park, a 2-car collision at the Main South Road and Panelatinger Road intersection. A nasty forecast smash at Port Adelaide at the moment. It's on the Porter Expressway near Perkins Drive. Delays as you're heading into Port Adelaide, and Ingle Farm large pothole getting repaired on Bridge Road near Montague Road. Busy right now, the Marion Road and Anzac Highway intersection, and got a camera setting up Military Road at West Beach. Woolworths spring water bottles, 600ml 24-pack was $9.50. Now just $8. Lower shelf prices on hundreds of products from Woolworths while stocks last. May not be available at all stores or online. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Camper Agent RV Supercentre for caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and big savings at Parafield Gardens.
A shower or two today, heading for a top of 13. A shower or two tomorrow, also 13. Thursday, a possible shower 14 and partly cloudy on Friday 15. Right now, it's 10 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 after 8. Don't miss the voice of reason himself, Scott Camporelli, on the Drive Show tonight, thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods.
He is, isn't he?
He is. When Campo starts getting excited, I think the lid is well and truly off. And he's getting there.
The lid is off, isn't it?
The lid's off. The lid's been obliterated. It's been launched into the orbit.
Could it be?
Stephen Rowe's got some sort of management-mandated gag order on him, I'm convinced.
Well, it expires Friday night.
I'm a Stephen Rowe truther. Hashtag free Rowie.
Yeah, let him off the leash.
There's some manipulation at play.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's been drugged or something. But
I don't know.
it's not the Rowie we know and love.
Mature Stephen Rowe. He's been body snatched.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Scott Camporelli coming up a little bit later tonight on the Drive Show, so don't miss that. Thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods. Don't miss Stephen Mulligan coming up after 8:30 today. There is so much to talk about with the Treasurer, some of which will be fleshed out and breaking at 8 in a moment. But there was a big revelation in the Oz today about BlueScope being in prime position to take over the wireless steelworks.
It gets like last right of refusal, doesn't it?
Yeah, which is an intriguing little tidbit in the detail there.
It almost puts them at a huge commercial advantage, meaning you almost put your house on them getting the steelworks.
And I wonder, is there potential that does it dampen other interest? Are you going to bother putting together and spending all the money to firm up a bid and do all that?
Does it make it even cheaper?
Well, I just wonder. I'm intrigued by it. We'll talk to the Treasurer about that after 8:30 today. The potential for more money to have to be spent helping out businesses as part of the algal bloom. Everyone we've spoken to has said, great that more money's on the way, but given this thing doesn't have an end date, what scope is there for more to come? We'll talk about that. And also the Bedford bailout, which we know comes with this land acquisition component as well. So a lot of really intriguing little tidbits to come with the Treasurer after 8:30. Also, stick around if you want to win some booze, because we are, of course, all this week celebrating Buy SA Week, celebrating South Australian producers. And very shortly, we're going to be talking to the owner of a well-known and well-celebrated distillery here in South Australia. That's not too far away. Let's jump into breaking at 8.
Well, we have two items for you this morning. One is good news for the government, one's bad news in an economic sense. The first, though, this is great. So SASMOA has agreed to a pay deal. The baseline is less than 4% a year. Remember that the salaried medical officers were asking for 30%. Well, we understand, as a result of talks last week, the government has significantly improved its offer for junior doctors, but for those at the higher end of the scale, it stared down demands from SASMOA for what a lot of people regarded as an extravagant 30% pay rise. We were very critical of it. And we also think, if you're listening, Kerry, that the Breaking at 8 that we did last week about a woman who is awaiting surgery for possible cancer tomorrow, whose surgery had been cancelled on account of a planned strike, we think that may well have been a pretty significant development in the sort of public relations element of this industrial dispute. It would have been a shocking look for the union. Well, to the union's credit, it sounds like they have been quite conciliatory. We also understand that the Premier himself, as a former union leader, became directly involved in the talks last week. So the government has recognised that our junior doctors are being paid significantly less than those in other states, and they have bumped up the pay rise aspect for those who are entering the medical profession. But for the other doctors, a much more modest baseline increase of just shy of 4% a year is what the deal is. I think it's over 3 years, isn't it?
So it's 12%. They were originally offering 10%.
And that's right. That's right. Well, that's what they were after. They were offering 10. Now it's gone up to about 12. But the union wanted 30, which the government said there's no way that's going to happen.
They haven't accepted it yet, though, have they?
No, they're going to put it to their members tomorrow. So the strike instead becomes a stop work. But importantly, there's a press conference at 9 o'clock where the Premier and also Kyan Ma, the IR Minister, and also the President of SASMOA, tellingly, they're going to all be there together. So the union is recommending to its members, accept this deal. Now, the thing that's important about that is it was impossible for the government to agree to the 30% for two reasons. One, it would have been vastly more than the allied health professionals, which is the radiologists, physios and what have you, would have been much more than what they got. But more ominously, if they'd gone for a big 30% or similar, every nurse in South Australia, because their EB is not resolved, all the nurses would rightly be saying, well, crikey, what about us? So the government has managed to keep a lid on that and avoid a significant...
the 30% now was an ambit claim, wasn't it?
Very much so.
30%, if they're recommending to accept 12, it was ask 30 to settle for more than 10.
Yeah.
Seems to be the negotiating strategy.
Correct. Now, on the downside, and this was a story that Cameron England broke in Daily yesterday, the government quietly snuck this information out on Friday afternoon and it was only cottoned onto yesterday. We've got the Shadow Minister for Government Accountability, Ben Hood, on the line here to tease this one out. The cost of the desal plant that's being built near around Port Lincoln at Billy Light's Point, that's blown out by $140 million. $140 million. It's now going to cost $470 million. Ben Hood is on the line. What's the opposition's take on this, Ben?
Well, good morning, boys, and it's good to be with you. Well, you know, a 40% increase in a project, $140 million, as you said, Pembo. I mean, this really just points to the government and how it manages other people's money. Everyone listening to this program right now, mums, dads, tradies, nurses, they've got to manage their household budget. They've got to keep it within their means. Is this government doing that with other people's money? I'm not really sure. Now, no one argues the point that the EP needs a solution to their water issue. This has been a can that has been kicked down the road by subsequent governments, and they do need a solution. But the fact of the matter is we've got a $140 million blowout at the start of a project, and yet the Premier and his government are trying to convince us that other even bigger infrastructure projects, and it might sound strange that $500 million project is a medium infrastructure project, but it is with this desal plant. We've got the New Limbs and Kids, we've got the Torrens to Darlington, approaching $19 billion worth of infrastructure, yet apparently they're all on track and there's nothing to see here. The problem with spin from this government is that spin actually runs out eventually when you've got to tell the public how much things are actually going to cost. Now, Pembo, you said that this was just quietly leaked out on a Friday afternoon when everyone else is, trying to enjoy themselves. This is the arrogance that we're seeing from the government, that they actually just won't front up to the people of South Australia and say, these are what things are going to cost. Now, we've got extreme debt in this state. My wife delivers babies down in Mount Gambier. Every kid that pops out from now on is facing about $24,000 worth of debt that they've got the minute they come into this world. Now, that's just not acceptable at the end of the day. This government are spending other people's money. They've got to do it a hell of a lot more responsibly. And, at the end of the day, as the saying goes, you eventually run out of other people's money.
Yeah, Ben Hood, the Shadow Minister for Government Accountability, and we'll be raising both of those issues with the Treasurer after 8:30. Thank you for that, Ben. The cost of the Women's and Children's Hospital, no way. What is it, off the top of my head, is it $3.2 billion? Is that what we're being told it is?
It's a good question. Yeah, somewhere in that order.
I think that's it. And apparently that's it. It's never going to go up.
I've got it in my budget notes. If you give me 30 seconds, I'll be able to go back and find it on from budget day. I'm just looking at the desal plant. I was just trying to work out the maths surrounding that. So that's gone up by $140 million on a cost base of so it was $330. So it's went up by nearly 50%. If you apply that to the Women's and Children's Hospital, we are starting to get into
scary stuff.
We're getting a nuclear submarine sort of territory.
The government argues, though, that there was a different site for that desal plant called Sleaford West. Sleaford. Sounds like a band we like, Will. The cost, if they'd done it there, which was the preferred choice of a site selection committee made up by the local community, but the cost of doing there had blown out to $920 million. So the government's argument is, well, we're building, even though the other project's blown out, it's still the cheaper option.
So back at the napkin, Matt. So you're right, $3.2 billion is on the government's own website. If it got a desal-esque blowout, you're starting to get close to $5 billion. Now, obviously, they're not comparable projects, and that's just very rough maths, but it doesn't feel totally beyond the realm of possibility.
Well, it went up under the Libs, didn't it? They changed the estimate because they hadn't changed the estimate for ages, and Labor, doing what the Libs are now doing, Labor at the time when they were in opposition, were going, come on, what's it really going to cost? And then they went, all right, it's going to cost this. So... But now the government's saying, no, like King Canute, holding back the tide. Was it King Canute who held back the tide? I'm not sure. But whatever the case, it increasingly beggars belief that figure is not going to go up.
If it is, as we've said repeatedly, it'll be the only thing that's not going up.
It was King Canute. Thank you for that, Pat.
All right, let's check traffic now that we've got that sorted. Mannix Air Conditioning is the SA name you know and trust for range, unbeatable prices and advice. Nobody beats Mannix.
Delays clearing from that earlier two-car smash at Trott Park, Main South Road at the Panel at Tinker Road intersection. Still got delays with that four-car collision at Port Adelaide, the Porter Expressway near Perkins Drive, and Eagle Farm large pothole getting repaired Bridge Road near Montague Road. Busy Anzac Highway at the Marion Road intersection with a camera right now, Military Road at West Beach. Breakfast is sorted at Guzmati Gomez, Grey Bay Brekkie Burrito and medium coffee for just $10. The $10 Brekkie combo available till 10:30am daily at select GYG stores. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G.
Port Adelaide lost the showdown, 58 by 98 points. It was a humiliation. Where I'm about to go with this is not so much about what happened on Saturday night. It's about where we're at as a football club and how to fix it. Every good forward gets reviewed every 3 years. So that should be happening.
The 5AA Sports Show.
You can't be comfortable and be successful because the two don't go together.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
The state government is rolling out 3-year-old preschool from 2026. Research shows the earlier children access preschool, the sooner their needs can be identified and supported. Learn more at flyingstart.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
direct from sellout tours across the world. The Simon and Garfunkel story returns to Australia, featuring all their classic hits in a moving and powerful show.
Within the sound of silence.
Don't miss the Simon and Garfunkel story. 2 shows, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m, Norwood Concert Hall, Wednesday, August 20. Book now at Ticketek.
Now, picture this. You finally arrive at your hotel after a long day of planes, trains and terminal coffee. The guy at reception gives you a friendly smile, hands over the keys and says, enjoy your stay. You head up to the room, open the door, and you instantly regret everything.
It happens, and more often than you'd think. The bed looks like it hasn't been touched since the 90s. There's no sign of the window you definitely saw in the photos, and then there's the smell.
Oh, dear. And you can skip this kind of holiday horror altogether if you book with RAA's trusted travel agents. From the moment you sit down with them, you'll feel like you're in safe, experienced hands.
Whether it's flights, accommodation, tours, or even cruises, they will tailor a package just for you.
So book an appointment with RAA travel agents to elevate your holiday. RAA, it's better to be a member.
Signs you may have big D envy. You've been invited to a mate's house to watch the footy, but you decline. Another mate's having a birthday bash. You make up an excuse not to attend. And finally, you feel like your partner is comparing what you have to what your mates have. Avoid Big D envy. Get in touch with Big Difference Home Improvements. From outdoor blinds to stunning verandas, pergolas, timber decking and carports. Big Difference Home Improvements will change your life. BigDifference.com.au.
Life's a journey. As you grow older, every step should bring you more of what you want. And at ECH, they understand that. As one of SA's largest retirement living and home care providers, ECH offers more in every sense. More help at home, more support with your health, or the perfect new home to downsize to. ECH won't tell you where you should be, but they'll always support you to get more out of life. Visit ech.asn.au or call ECH today.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes after 8, it is Buy SA Week. This is a very easy initiative to get behind. It's back for 2025, and our role in this is just showcasing, giving you some sort of thought starters on things you can do and brands you can get behind. Speaking to the people behind the wonderful brands and products that are made here in South Australia. The message is simple: support local and buy SA for SA. Look for the state logo on products during your next shop. It is our pleasure, and it's 5 o'clock summer, as they always say, to chat with John Durden from Seppeltsfield Road Distillers, who joins us now. John, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, John, not at all, mate. So, what a wonderful, wonderful office you have there in Marananga in the Barossa. How long have you been up there, mate?
Yeah, we've been about 7 years. So we launched in 2018. Small little business at the time with my wife and myself.
And was it a bit of a sea change type thing for you to do that, or have you always had a connection to the industry and to the Barossa?
My wife's a generational Barossan, from the very very first German immigrants. But I'm a bit of a blow-in. But we were actually living in London at the time and looking for an excuse to come back home, to the Barossa, and thought, what better than to bring amazing gin to match the amazing wines that the Barossa gives us.
How hard is it to keep your head above water in the gin space? Because it felt like about 10 years ago, everyone with a back shed and a distillery decided to, start mixing juniper berries and what have you to create the product.
Look, there's from when we started 7 years ago, there's definitely a lot more producers around, but I think we in South Australia produce some of the world's best spirits and especially gin. So I don't see as competing with them. It's really about getting South Australians to drink our local product, because it is the best.
It does sounds like it's almost like you guys sort of just one day Googled how to make gin, because you said you started in 2018. You also won Australian Gin Distiller of the Year in 2018. That's hitting the ground running, isn't it?
That was a bit complex because at the time we didn't yet have our liquor licence, so we weren't allowed to tell anybody. We'd already sent the samples off to the competition and won, and then suddenly it's like, oh crap, what do we do now?
Like running a speakeasy. So, John, what's your go-to way to enjoy gin? Are you a G&T on a hot day guy, or are you more of a purist? Because I see you make your own vermouth. Are you a martini man?
Look, definitely a martini man, but for me, the Churchill martini, which is basically just gin. Well, it is just gin. Gin stirred over ice.
No vermouth
for me. Nah, look, I love the vermouth too, but if the gin's that good, then I'm more than happy to have that by itself.
The Churchill martini, that's excellent. And you got a special deal on at the moment as well, John, where you can buy 2 bottles of the Seppeltsfield Road Distillers Gin, and you get one free.
Yeah, so celebrating BioSA Week, whether it's at our online store or at any of our tastings, or come into the distillery, any 2 bottles, and you'll get the third one free up until the 3rd of August.
Sensational. Sounds like a deal, John. John Durden, they're the founder and owner of the excellent Seppeltsfield Road Distillers.
If you want to try a Churchill martini yourself, you simply call now on 8223 0055, because we've got a gin tasting flight for 2, plus a 500ml bottle of your favourite gin to take home for the first caller through. 8223 0055. Easy thing to talk about buying South Australian, isn't it? Because what are you talking about? Wine, gin.
I was thinking that at the airport, coming back from our mate's 50th on Sunday, just walking past that store, can't remember the name of it, but you know the one that sells all South Australian stuff. Like they've got Metworth, they've got wines from Nepenthe and Shaw and Smith, and then they've got all the Cooper's stuff. Like we really, I don't know why SA has historically had a sort of inferiority complex with the eastern states, because if you think about the best things that are made in Australia, like the best chocolates, you go, well, Hague's. The best wine, you go, probably you'd say Penfolds. Well, you would say Penfolds. The best beer, Cooper's Ale. Like all these craft beers have come and go, and they do those annual surveys, like Peter Lawler used to do them in the Oz. What are the top 20 beers in Australia? With the explosion in availability of other brands, Cooper's Pale Ale would almost always be in the top 5 and more often than not number 1. I don't know what it is. Quality control, provenance, pride, all of these things combine to make a lot of our stuff the very best.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jill is going to get to taste a fair bit of that, because Jill has won the gin. Morning to you, Jill.
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, do you like the sound of a Churchill martini, Jill? Just a bit of gin over ice. Is that your speed?
Oh, a gin and tonic's better, but a martini sounds good.
What tonic is your go-to, Jill? Because the G&T people always say good quality tonic's the sort of the secret.
Whatever's on sale normally.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm with you, Jill.
Fair enough.
You got to go easy on the martinis, though. Never have 3 martinis. You can have 2, but you can't have 3. Well, it leads to all sorts of mischief.
I
think you just sold it to Jill as opposed to it working as a cautionary tale.
You sound like fun, Jill.
Jill, I feel like you're going to have a ripping weekend, or maybe even something sooner. Jill, there, look out in Woodville, because Jill's got a tasting flight and 500 mils of gin coming her way.
Jill's on the tear.
Yeah, Jill's about to have a very exciting little period coming up. All right, so are we, because we're going to take a break. 5AA News is not too far away. And then on the other side of it, the Treasurer of South Australia, Stephen Mulligan, will join us, and there is a full slate of topics to get into with him.
Agatha Christie's breathtaking masterpiece. And Then There Were None. This best-selling crime novel of all time is now a brand new stage production. A tale of 10 strangers lured to a solitary mansion off the English coast. And Then There Were None, directed by Robin Nevin. Opens August at Her Majesty's Theatre. Book at andthentherewerenone.com.au.
Why filter your whole home's water? Filter where it counts most for a fraction of the cost with Puritap. The best place to filter your water is right at the tap. Skip all the rust and gunk in your pipes and filter your water just before it hits your glass with a Puritap. Adelaide's most affordable, refreshing drinking water is just one call away. Cut the chemicals. Get the tap. Call PuraTap now on 133 502 or visit puratap.com.au.
We've just been talking about Buy SA Week. It's here, and what better way to celebrate than at the Adelaide Central Market, or, if you're with Jill, over 500 mils of gin. Open Tuesday to Saturday, the market brings together over 70 small SA businesses under one roof, backed by an incredible network of local growers and producers.
Love the market. Going there for lunch Friday. There's always a wonderful buzz around the market for all ages, and during Buy SA Week, what better time to discover and celebrate everything local?
And we all know it's the place to stock up on fresh produce, pantry staples and delicious eats, but it's also important to remember that when you buy SA, you're not just grabbing groceries, you're fueling families, creating jobs and strengthening our local economy.
Thinking best things. What about Charlesworth nuts? I challenge you to find a better nut purveyor anywhere in this land. Friday night will be extra fun with tastings from 4:30. What's it called? The Market Mix. How good's that?
Yes, it is.
Then there's a free cooking demonstration at 6 p.m. using the freshest SA ingredients direct from the market. Best char kway teow in Australia is made at the Asian Gourmet in the Central Market, plus live music and more. The Adelaide Central Market open Tuesday to Saturday with late night trading on Fridays until 9 p.m.
Start your journey with a Mercedes-Benz SUV. Enjoy savings from $10,000 on select GLE and GLS models with complimentary delivery fee across the SUV range. Visit Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Unley today. Terms and conditions apply.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. From the boardroom to the ballroom, from the hills to the beach, Your Say Group Catering will cater for any event. yoursaygroup.com.au.
Tired of rising power bills? What if you could eliminate power bills forever? With NRG Solar, the new cheaper home batteries program gives eligible homes and businesses up to 30% off the cost of a new home battery, saving you thousands. NRG Solar has the know-how to help you claim the rebate and design a system that delivers real long-term value. Own your energy, own your future. Call 1300 858 160, that's 1300 858 160, or visit nrgsolar.com.au now.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 13 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. physioextra.com.
From today, South Australian tourism, fishing and aquaculture businesses impacted by the algal bloom can apply for government relief. Small businesses can seek up to $10,000 if they can demonstrate a 30% drop in turnover, while the hardest hit commercial fisheries and aquaculture licence holders can access up to $100,000 in support. Yesterday, the Premier and his Cabinet visited the Yorke Peninsula. Local member for Narunga, Fraser Ellis, says the money is a good starting point.
If this thing continues as it has been, and that is snowballing from, it was first saw it in mid-March on a Flurio, and it's snowballed since then. If it continues to snowball and hang around through summer, we're going to need more. It will be an absolutely diabolical situation, coupled with the fact that it's looking like a relatively dry harvest.
There's been a car fire at Bolivar. The ute was reported alight on the north-south motorway early this morning. It was found in the northbound emergency lane, engulfed in flames. Senior Constable Liam Bennett is appealing for more information.
Police are treating the fire as suspicious after a silver van was captured on CCTV in the vicinity of the ute just prior to the fire. So we're asking anyone who was a witness or who has dash cam from this area at about 1:20am this morning to please contact Crime Stoppers online or via free call 1800 333 000.
The Albanese government says America's new tariff position is challenging as it flags a new global levy of between 15 and 20%. President Donald Trump has signalled the new benchmark for countries that fail to reach a trade deal with the US. Australia currently is slugged 10% for the goods and services it exports to America. The opposition's Kevin Hogan says the Prime Minister needs to get some clarification on the matter.
He has to put a very strong sovereign case to America that their policy is bad. I think contravenes the goodwill of the free trade agreement too, that we went in government as a coalition signed with the US 20 years ago. So this has to be put very forcefully and it has to happen.
The corporate regulator has ordered banks found to be charging high fees to low-income customers refund more than $93 million. 21 banks were investigated as part of a review into avoidable bank fees. ASIC Commissioner Alan Kirkland says millions of people were signed up to the wrong accounts, leaving them financially vulnerable.
People on low incomes have been trapped in high fee accounts, and through this report, we've pointed out that problem to the banks, and as a result, they'll be refunding a total of over $93 million to customers who shouldn't have paid those fees in the first place.
The name and release date for the next movie in the Meet the Parents series has been announced. The fourth film will be called Focker in Law and will be out at Thanksgiving next year. Now turning to 5AA's sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide will be forced to make at least one change for Friday night's blockbuster clash against Hawthorn at home. Defender Max Michelani will miss the rest of the minor round as he recovers from a hamstring injury. But in some good news, fellow defender Nick Murray says he's feeling better each week after returning from a knee injury.
Very happy that I ended up having that clean out. After that FIVEAA game, it just wasn't feeling right, and to have that and build a bit of a base now. Obviously had some time on the sample, and every week I'm feeling more and more, at the level.
An off-the-ball incident is again seeing Toby Green face scrutiny. Behind the goals vision before Friday night's Sydney derby shows the Giants captain kicking his leg backwards, backheeling Dane Rampey between his legs. Commentator Matthew Lloyd telling Nine's Footy Classified it needs to be looked at.
The groin region and a kick, an intentional kick going to that area, I think that certainly must be re-looked at by the AFL, and I'd expect a statement from them.
A former Wallaby is backing by his comments that the Australians were robbed in their weekend loss to the British and Irish Lions at the MCG. Debate continues to rage about the non-penalty call that led to the match-winning try for the visitors. Stan Sport commentator Morgan Turini telling Wide World of Sports the refs failed.
When the TMO pulled that back at the end of the match, it was clear that they should have disallowed that try. Now, there's going to be lots of other stuff around it that people try and throw, but foul play, which is contact with head on neck at a ruck, supersedes all that other stuff. And so the Wallabies should have won that game.
And in some cricket to finish, Australia will be hoping for a series sweep in its final T20 match against the West Indies, which begins in the next half hour. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Port Adelaide, delays clearing from an earlier crash on the Port River Expressway near Perkins Drive. Largs North Boomgate's playing up Railway Terrace near Collapore Avenue, and Ingle Farm, large pothole getting repaired. Bridge Road near Montague Road, pretty bumpy through there. Cameras to look out for at Delphi Terrace, Glenelg North, and got one right now, Military Road at Wisbeach. Power up Android on Telstra. Discover great deals on a range of Android devices on Australia's best mobile network. Visit Telstra in-store or online today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Camper Agent RV Supercentre for caravans, camper vans, motorhomes and big savings at Parafield Gardens.
A top of just 13 today with a shower or two tomorrow 13, Thursday a possible shower 14 and 15 on Friday. Right now it's 10 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 9. Looking for rules to live by. We had a good chat with Jules, part of Buy SA Week before the break. Who, what was your rule to live by, David? Never drink more than 3 martinis.
Two.
Yeah. I thought you said 3.
No. Don't. I said don't have 3.
Oh, don't have 3.
Said why not? And started to laugh.
Jill didn't have that rule to live by.
In a devilish fashion.
What's a rule to live by? Piece of advice, things like that. Don't eat cheese before noon. 8223 0000 or text us on 0448 08 1395. You can win tickets to go to the movies. Thanks to Wallace. Just let us know your rule to live by.
Steve Miller says 3 martinis makes you see double and feel single.
You'll see that's why it's a good rule of thumb.
Drinking triples, feeling single, seeing double. Yes, that's the old slogan.
There you go. The Treasurer of South Australia is in the 5AA Breakfast studio. I'm not sure if he's got a budgetary rule to live by. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Good morning. It's great to be with you.
I feel like they've all been broken in the last week. There's been a lot of spending going on, hasn't there?
It sure has. Yeah, we've had a few issues to deal with, particularly in the first half of this year. So Bedford obviously on Sunday, trying to land that, which was no mean feat. And then yesterday over at the York Peninsula, providing a bit more support, particularly for those businesses that are getting knocked around by the algal bloom.
Do you worry about the level of state debt with all of these unforeseen things hitting you? We mentioned too, we had the opposition on earlier about the increase in the cost of the desal plant near Port Lincoln. Are these things going to increase state debt, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we are very conscious of and concerned about rising levels of state debt, and so we should be. You know, we've engaged in a strategy to take debt onto the state's balance sheet to build these big infrastructure projects. And when things like, FIVEAA or the Algal bloom or drought or, even some of the other issues that we're dealing with near Star, come up, and you think, how do we respond, and do we have the financial capacity to respond? It's one of the reasons why I've always tried to maintain the discipline of running budget surpluses, not just to make sure that we can afford, to meet all of our costs as debt's increasing, but
But all of these things eliminate the surplus, don't they?
Well, they get, they put a dent in it. I mean, we're still committed to delivering surpluses, and we're still forecasting a surplus position for for not just last year, but this year as well. But it does, knock the edges off it. And so you've got to reach a balance between the government being prepared to step in and support the community or support these institutions, but at the same time trying to maintain some budget discipline. And that's the balance I've had to achieve, particularly in the last couple of weeks.
But how do we get it back? I'm thinking about the looming discussions with the feds as well around tax reform, even though Albo's ruled out any increases to the GST. I mean, it feels like unless you jack up taxes or slash spending somewhere, we're never going to fix that $50 billion that we've got.
No, I mean, I think what will change is, we're in a period at the moment while we're building the tunnels and getting on with the hospital of levels of infrastructure spending which are 2 to 3 times higher than what they would be normally. And going back to more normal levels of infrastructure spending, you would see debt come down because you would be running the budget in a way where you can still make important investments in infrastructure, but you can do it without having to take on extra debt. And the budget is strong enough, given the strong economy we've got and the growth in revenues, to start paying that debt down. So I've always said that, yes, we're going to step up our infrastructure spending to build these 2 major projects. But until then, we haven't got the capacity for other major new initiatives. And when we get past the bulk of the spending by about 2030, then you'll see infrastructure spending come back down to more normal levels, and you'll see that debt start to reduce.
I don't know. Why will it? I mean, just thinking one example, like yesterday we had Charles Mountain from the RAA on the show talking about rail. Like, we've got a block of land down there at Aldinga, which you guys, to your credit, said to the Libs, we're going to set that aside. That needs to become a railway station. In 2 years' time, when Aldinga's population has reached, 40,000, or won't that be the issue then? There's always going to be a demand for something new.
Absolutely. There will always be the need for ongoing infrastructure investment. But the point I'm making is not at the level that we're currently engaging in. I mean, as I heard Ben Hood call into your program a bit before, and he's right. Like, those 2 projects, hospital and tunnels, are nearly $20 billion. Rail extensions, thank goodness, are nothing like that order. So, and we extended it from Noarlunga to Seaford. We electrified it. We did the same thing with Gawler and so on. So we have done rail projects, but these tend to be projects in the hundreds of millions or very low billions, rather than $15 to $20 billion for these 2 projects. And I think once we get past them, we've got to maintain the discipline of not biting off even more. And then once we get past them, getting infrastructure spending back to what it was when we were doing, incremental rail extensions or bits and pieces of the north-south corridor.
Just to drill down on not the long-term debt repayment, but the operating surplus that had been forecast for the year ahead. So I think it was $179 million.
That's right.
It was literally only June 5th.
Yeah,
so it's just over almost 2 months ago. How seriously has that figure been degraded by the spending already? Do you have a number? Do you know how much it has been? And does it represent a hard cap for things like the ongoing sustenance of whale, the potential for future bailouts for people on the coastal regions affected by the algal bloom? Like, is 179 it? Are you drawing the line there, or is the potential that
the forecast surplus doesn't actually materialise, if there's a good reason for it.
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm working hard to maintain the discipline that we do deliver a budget surplus, because I think that's an important statement of financial responsibility while we are taking so much more debt onto the state's balance sheet. But you're right. I mean, we've committed nearly $20 million in just the state's contribution towards the algal bloom relief. And some of the other supports that we've had to provide for Bedford, we've tried to structure in a way where it doesn't directly impact the operating surplus. Hence, while we've provided a loan, it is in effect a land purchase through the Balyana site down there to try and provide a return for taxpayers, but do it in a way that doesn't damage the budget in an operating surplus perspective. But what we tend to do over the first 6 months of the financial year is understand how our departments are tracking with spending, understand how the economy is tracking and the revenues coming into the state budget, and also we can expect a Commonwealth mid-year budget update as well. Those are the three things that tend to change our budget settings, and we're not banking on improvements of money coming into the state's finances, but should we get towards the middle of the financial year, towards the end of this calendar year, and think that that we can't afford more spending, then that's when governments engage in the necessary discipline of making room for commitments. And I've been really pointed when I've handed down the last two budgets that we haven't applied new rounds of savings to agencies, which I think periodically is a very good thing to do. Like, you should go back in and interrogate your spending, because if you've got new priorities, you should make room for it and drop the old ones, rather than continue to go out and cause further damage to the state's balance.
Can I ask you about WIALA? There's a revelation in The Australian this morning. They're citing Court-Mentha documents that say that BlueScope is part of the deal in terms of being someone providing expert advice on running it and getting up to speed to be sold. The steelworks there have a right of effectively last refusal. They get to make the final bid, see what the high bid is, and get to choose whether they outbid it or not effectively. Yep. Puts them in a remarkably strong position to potentially take over the site in future. Given the South Australian taxpayers' exposure in this endeavour to keep the steelworks running, why does a clause like that make sense in terms of protecting the South Australian taxpayers' investment? And does it not have the potential to dampen interest if, there's one entity that has such a huge advantage? So
it's a good point to raise. So we've made it clear from day one with those potential bidders who've expressed interest in the process that this was one of the arrangements that we had reached. And the reason we put that in place was because we wanted BlueScope to come in and assist the administrators, get the plant back on track and get it operating productively and efficiently and start generating some more revenue again. And what they said to us is, well, if you want us to step in and effectively help the administrators run the plant, we're taking on a significant amount of not just time and effort, but risk as well. And so we want this clause placed in there to make sure that we're insulated against some of that risk. Now, that being known to the bidders as they've approached the process, and we've still had a huge positive response from companies around the world, indicates that, while they might not think that this is ideal for them, trying to gain the greatest commercial advantage, they're still willing to participate, and I think that that's good. This doesn't make it a lay-down misère for for BlueScope, because they still would have to do what any other successful bidder would do and demonstrate that they've got the financial capacity to invest potentially billions of dollars in the plant alongside the state and Commonwealth package to provide all of the new kit and equipment that the steelworks needs to continue being productive and profitable into the future. So it doesn't mean that they've got, as the Australians said, a rails run. They've still got a very high hurdle to jump over in the same way that any other bidder does. They've got to be expert in steel making. They've got to have a track record, but most importantly, they've got to have the financial capacity to take this thing on. Because the last thing we want to do is end up with another GFG who comes in promising the world, siphoning cash out of the operation, setting it off to plug gaps, presumably in other parts of their global operations, and not invest in the plant. So we've been let down before, and we're absolutely committed to making sure that doesn't happen to WIALA again.
In this environment, Treasurer, where we have seen a lot of unforeseen or unanticipated left field budgetary pressures emerging, does up to $50 million to fix up the North Adelaide golf course become a harder sell politically?
Yeah, I understand people raising that question. Governments have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. You've got to make sure that you can invest to grow the economy, as I think we've demonstrated that we're doing. We've got to have capacity to be able to support South Australian institutions when they need support, and we've talked about that just earlier. But you've also got to make sure that you're providing broader economic opportunity, particularly around tourism and attracting people to South Australia who've got the capacity potentially to significantly invest in our economy. And LIVE as an event does both of those things. It's great for tourism, but we're bringing a cohort of people to our state who have got the capacity to participate and invest in our economy in a way which other events don't. So I think that's worth doing.
Dave in Blakeview's on the line. He's got a question for you, Treasurer. Dave, you're speaking with the Treasurer of South Australia.
G'day, Mr. Treasurer.
How are you, Dave?
What happened to the money that was ploughed into the defunct hydrogen plant up at Wyalla, and the money that the feds and yourselves pulled out for the Port Augusta Road, the Truro detour, and a couple of other road work jobs around the place? Where's all that gone to?
Yeah, so it's a good question, Dave. So you might remember that when we announced the Wyalla rescue package, about $650 million from the state government, we paused our efforts on the hydrogen plant, and we took the $593 million that we'd budgeted towards that to put it into Wyalla. And in terms of Truro, in the budget that I handed down, as Will said, on the 5th of June, the government's committed our share towards the Truro bypass. So that money's stayed on the table, and together with the Commonwealth, we've got more than $600 million towards that project, which should deliver a really good freight bypass opportunity to get trucks out of the Adelaide Hills.
Thank you for the question, Dave. And to you, Treasurer, thanks for coming in. We enjoy our regular catch-ups. We'll talk to you again soon. Steve Mulligan.
Thanks so much.
All right, let's check traffic. We'll come back to wrap with some of your rules to live by and a chance to win some Wallace Cinema tickets in just a moment. Mannix Air Conditioning is the SA name you know and trust for range, unbeatable prices and advice. Nobody beats Mannix.
Morning there. Port Adelaide delays clearing from an earlier crash on the Porter Expressway near Perkins Drive. Largs North, Boomgate's playing up, Railway Terrace near Collapore Avenue, and Engle Farm Lights, pothole getting repaired, Bridge Road near Montague Road. Busy South Road, Edwardstown slow, Brighton Road, Brighton with a camera, East Terrace at Henley Beach. Not a chili fan? Try Porto's new Portuguese barbecue basting for that smoky hit of flavour to your chicken. Whole chicken and family chips, just $19.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Adam from Gutser. We've been relining gutters across Australia for nearly 30 years. Now you can get your hands on our DIY house gutter relining kit. This means you can install gutter liner for under $10 a metre. It's tough, has a 10-year weatherproof warranty, and it's 70% cheaper than replacing your gutters. Go to gutser.com.au to see the installation videos. Buy online and get the kit delivered to your door. Nothing can be finer than Gutser gutter liner.
And here is your room. Have a nice day.
This can't be the place. Is that the bed? Oh, gross!
Nothing like a bug symphony to set the mood. Luckily for you, I can't play any instruments. Next time, chat with an RAA travel agent so you don't have to hang with Sir Chirps a lot over here.
Book an appointment with RAA travel agents and elevate your holiday. RAA, it's better to be a member.
There's no place like South Australia, so all this week, right up to Sunday, August 3rd, let's celebrate all things local with Buy SA Week.
Buy SA Week is the best time to support local with events and special giveaways at retailers and supermarkets across SA. You'll be able to sample, sip, save and win, plus enjoy tasting and giveaways at the Adelaide Showground Farmers Market and Rundle Mall, cooking demonstrations in the Central Market and lots more happening at locations right across the state.
So get a free taste of SA and explore what's on at buysa.sa.gov.au.
There's something special about starting your journey in a Mercedes-Benz SUV. Save from $10,000 on select GLE models and from $15,000 on select GLS models with complimentary delivery fee across the SUV range. With spacious interiors, advanced driving technology and unmistakable presence, Mercedes-Benz SUVs are built for every kind of journey. Start your SUV journey at Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Unley. Terms and conditions apply.
You wake up and you're feeling a bit off.
Your nose is runny, but maybe it's just a cold. That scratchy throat, though, that could be something worse.
Test for COVID, Flu A, Flu B and RSV in just minutes with Cell Life, the premium 4-in-1 rapid antigen test. Fast, reliable results. Make the smart choice for your health and your family. Insist on the brand the healthcare professionals prefer. Cell Life at leading chemists and Amazon. CELLIFE.
It's game on at Hyundai with offers on new and demonstrator models. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 9, we were celebrating by SA, for SA, just before 8:30 this morning. Spoke with Seppeltsfield Road Distillery, and you mentioned a rule to live by, David. Never have 3 martinis. Never have 3 martinis.
Two's enough.
Two's enough. Jill, who won the gin, disagreed. We're asking you for the Wallace Cinema tickets this morning what your rule to live by is. Adam in Port Noarlunga, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I've just got 2 that I like to live by. Treat others how you'd like to be treated yourself.
Good one.
And also, when greeting someone, always use their name. I just think that shows a sign of respect for that person, and you're actually interested in them.
They're both excellent rules, Adam.
Good on you, Adam. That was good.
Nothing worse than when you forgot the name and you say, "G'day, mate."
Champ. Never champ. Never champ.
Champ's almost like become a precursor to having a crack at someone, don't you think?
You mean in a fighting sense?
Champ's like, oh, yeah, nice one, champ. Well, mate's a bit like that in the
fighting
wrong
words,
hands, isn't it?
Oh, you don't want to misuse a mate.
No.
Peter at Westlake, sure you got a rule to live by for us?
Yes, I have, boys. Mine is never look a man in the eye when he's eating a banana.
Now, that's more what I was expecting we were going to be getting when we started this topic, Peter. Thank you. I don't want to interrogate that one particularly at all, which maybe goes to its essence.
Well, they do say you shouldn't eat bananas after dinner because you have nightmares.
That's right. Is that true? Is there any truth to that?
Oh, I think you had nightmares about that conversation we just had with Peter.
Michelle in Collinswood, good morning. Have you got a rule to live by?
I have. I'm on the same wavelength as Adam, I guess. My rule to live by is it costs me nothing to be nice. You know, they always say, you know, it takes a village to raise a child, but I think in today's, you know, society, we don't live like a village, and, you know, getting into an elevator and not acknowledging another person or not chatting to somebody at the supermarket, we just don't live like the village, and it actually costs you nothing to be nice, and, you know, smiling at somebody or saying hello can make somebody's day. So, yeah, that's my rule to live by. I say it all the time.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Michelle. I actually think as South Australians, we're better at it than in a lot of the other bigger cities in Australia. Like if you're, walking down the street in Sydney and said, "Go, mate," they'd look at you like you need to be dragged off to Callan Park. What the hell is wrong with this bloke?
Who wins the Wallace Cinema Pass?
Just because I found it so confusing and confronting, I think we're going to give it to Peter.
I'm never going to do it. No, I can't picture it ever having happened, but I certainly won't from this point on, Peter. So thank you.
I just liked his delivery.
It was just...
I'm just going to leave that there.
It was perfection.
People can make of it what they will.
Perfection, Peter. You're off to the movies thanks to the great people at Wallace Cinema. So much to check out. We love Wallace. So many good texts coming through with rules to live by as well on the police home care text line.
One here from Trish in Monash saying my rule, which is written on our board at home, is the behaviour you allow is the behaviour you accept. John in Normanville has one here from the Dalai Lama. Big hit of the Lama. John says, "This is my simple religion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophies. My brain and my heart are my temples. My philosophy is kindness." Thank you to both John and also His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Josh, winding back to a brief chat we had about chips in light of the Smith's Chips Factory fire in Regency Park, says, "Boys, the best rule to live by is that chip sandwiches must only be made with cheese CCs and heaps of butter." Never tried that. And Tony in Paraka says 2 rules: don't eat anything bigger than your head and don't eat yellow snow.
Oh,
good advice.
Thank you, Tony. It's not bad advice.
That's right.
Let's have a look at the fuel situation before we leave this morning. It's better to be a member with RAA road service. The cheapest diesel. There's a big range of both diesel and unleaded this morning, actually. So the cheap diesel, we've got it at $1.65, the Mobile Northeast Road, Hampstead Gardens, and then you've got it at $1.81 at a place like OTR Marion Road, Marion, which is not bad, but just gives you a sense of the range between the two. Unleaded's almost exactly the same. In fact, it's a bigger variance. $1.60 the United Grange Road, Flinders Park, and then $1.85 at the Mobile Commercial Road, Shadow Park. Don't get stuck on the side of the road. Get RAA Road Service. It's better to be a member with RAA Road Service.
We're off to the Hutt Street Centre today, and also to talk to our good friends at Catherine House ahead of the Undy Drive next week. We're looking forward to the Undy Drive. Get ready to dig deep, SA, for a hugely important cause. You think about how cold it is at night, and we talk about coming in here and, I've got slightly cold feet. You know, it was cold at soccer training last night. Well, imagine sleeping in it.
Yeah.
Under a piece of cardboard.
It's hard to imagine. That's what it's all about, the Undy Drive next week from Monday. That's all from us on this Tuesday morning. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.